Chapter 1003. Let's go and play. Wang Jingyang tugged at Lin Yan's arm and led her to the couch. The two of them sat on the couch and Wang Jingyang tossed a game controller to Lin Yan. You're still playing this? Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang in surprise. Yeah. Wang Jingyang nodded. Lin Yan remembered that this game had been extremely difficult. She had dragged Wang Jingyang along because she couldn't beat the single-player mode. She hadn't expected that Wang Jingyang would still be playing this game after so long. When you were around, we used to play through the night, so it was easy to beat the game. However, although I'm playing single-player now, I've already beaten many levels. I've beaten all the levels that we couldn't beat together. Wang Jingyang grinned at Lin Yan. Not bad. You're quite persistent. I gave up. Lin Yan nodded. I just don't want to give up, Wang Jingyang muttered. After playing with Wang Jingyang for the entire afternoon, they arrived at the mall. After strolling for a long time, Wang Jingyang was carrying bags of various sizes in his hands. Lin Yan, damn it. Aren't you here to buy clothes for me? Wang Jingyang bellowed at Lin Yan. Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang. Why are you so selfish? What's wrong with me buying some clothes? You're a man. Do you think these things will tire you out? *CK. You're so shameless. Wang Jingyang glared at Lin Yan. She wasn't buying clothes for him. She was obviously getting someone to pick them up. At midnight, at the place where Wang Jingyang had met Qin Huan, Wang Jingyang was dressed in a black robe. Oh my god. Lin Yan scanned Wang Jingyang from head to toe and exclaimed in surprise, I'm a god. What kind of taste did she have? How could she be so accurate? This was too similar. After Wang Jingyang put on the black robe, he looked at least 80% similar to the man in the black robe that night. Doggy look. Don't they look alike? Lin Yan clicked on the video and showed it to Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Before Lin Yan could speak, Xing Chen and Ling Yu had arrived. Sister Yan, we're here. Ling Yu walked over to Lin Yan and whispered. Xing Chen sized up the black-robed Wang Jingyang. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen the black-robed man before? If you keep looking, I'll gouge your eyeballs out. Wang Jingyang glared at Xing Chen. Xing Chen, Miss Lin, did you get Black Robe himself? He looks just like him, Xing Chen said to Lin Yan. Lin Yan grinned. I have good taste. What's there to look alike? Aren't they all the same when they are wearing black robes? How can they look alike? Ling Yu asked curiously. That's right. This lady is very honest. She could have looked for anyone else, but she chose me to suffer, Wang Jingyang said. As they were talking, Qi Feng drove over. After getting off the racer, Qi Feng looked at them excitedly and said, Hello, everyone. I'm the racer Qi Feng. It's an honor to meet a few professional actors. Hearing this, Xing Chen and the others were stunned. Professional actors? Professional actors are expensive? Lin Yan whispered to Xing Chen and Ling Yu. Yeah, we are all professional actors. Alright, let's start filming. Xing Chen nodded. Hello, the scene where you were beaten up was really good. It was as though you had been beaten up badly. I remember that you were seriously injured and almost killed. Qi Feng grinned. End of this chapter. Chapter 1004. Xing Chen stared at Qi Feng with an unfriendly expression on his face. Everyone should know how to film it. It's a replay of the video. The black-robed man severely injured Xing Chen and Ling Yu. Qi Feng stepped in to stop the fight and successfully chased the black-robed man away, said Lin Yan. Got it. Hurry up, Wang Jingyang said reluctantly. Miss Lin, what about you? Qi Feng glanced at Lin Yan. I'm in charge of filming. I'm a professional. Lin Yan grinned. Has it started yet? I'm waiting to go home and play games. Wang Jingyang replied impatiently. Alright, let's begin. Lin Yan whipped out her phone and started recording. **die. The black-robed man bellowed at Xing Chen. Bring it on. I'm not afraid of you. Xing Chen bellowed. Lin Yan was speechless. Wasn't he being too exaggerated? I'm going to take your life. Wang Jingyang walked over to Xing Chen and punched him. Bang. A second later, Xing Chen instinctively raised his leg and sent Wang Jingyang flying. Lin Yan stared at Xing Chen in shock. Sorry. It was an instinctive reaction. Brother, are you alright? Xing Chen suddenly realized something and hurried to Wang Jingyang's side. *CKU. Aren't we filming? Are you serious? Wang Jingyang yelled as Xing Chen helped him up. I'm not serious. If I were, you would have been kicked to death by me, Xing Chen replied awkwardly. I've been kicked to death by you? Are you bragging? Come on, kick me to death. Let's see, said Wang Jingyang. Can you be more professional? Lin Yan frowned as she walked forward. Can't we act the same as last time? After being lectured by Lin Yan, Wang Jingyang sighed. All right, I got it. Oh, it was a mistake. This time, I promise to follow the script. Xing Qin nodded. Lin Yan returned to her seat and raised her phone. Be serious. Let's begin. Who are you? Xing Qin glared at Wang Jingyang and asked coldly. Kid, don't ask too many questions, Wang Jingyang replied calmly. You must have a death wish. Xing Qin was enraged as he charged at Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang waved his hand casually. A split second later, Xing Qin collapsed to the ground in an exaggerated fashion. He bit down on the chicken blood pouch in his mouth, causing blood to flow out from the corner of his lips. So strong. Impossible. Wang Jingyang was speechless. He felt that he had been greatly insulted and couldn't act anymore. How dare you beat Xing Qin up like this? At this moment, Ling Yu rushed out and glared at Wang Jingyang. She took a step forward and rushed towards Wang Jingyang with extreme speed. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Wang's Feng Wang Chen said. Feng Wang Xing Ling Chen and Tian. Feng and said, Ling 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 Chen to the King Ling Xing Chen and Xing King Feng Yu Xing Feng Chen, Wang Yen the Chen Wang Wang Feng. Wang Chen Wang Jingyang glanced at Qi Feng and said listlessly, cut the crap. Come and die. I advise you to surrender. You're no match for me, said Qi Feng. However, before Wang Jingyang could continue speaking, bursts of laughter came from nearby. Chapter 1005. As the laughter rang out, Lin Yan and the others looked around in confusion. A few seconds later, a dozen or so people walked out from nearby. Qi Feng stared at the people who had suddenly appeared and glanced at Lin Yan in confusion. What kind of show was this? She didn't remember so many people, right? I didn't expect that we would be able to wait. A young man with a buzz cut sneered coldly. Who are you? Lin Yan frowned. Evolved beings? Evolved beings? Lin Yan was startled when she heard that. What kind of show was this? How could an evolved being appear in a video? Guys, you guys have been very popular recently. The Hunters Guild really hates you guys. The fight between evolved beings was recorded by ordinary people and uploaded to the internet. It has disrupted the evaluation of the evolved beings in the capital. Who are you? How dare you hurt my friend? Qi Feng suddenly stood up. I won't let you succeed. Hearing this, all the evolvers present were stunned. Where did this fool come from? Scram. It has nothing to do with you. In that case, there's no need to waste your breath. Qi Feng said coldly. Lin Yan was speechless. This wasn't a movie. Couldn't he tell? Qi Feng charged at one of them, raised his palm, and slashed the neck of an evolved being. After a few seconds, Qi Feng whispered, Brother, you should fall. An evolved being was speechless. Qi Feng immediately raised his palm and gave him another palm strike. Brother, fall. You have a death wish? The evolved being, who had been slashed twice by Qi Feng, bellowed coldly and threw a punch. A huge force struck, and the force of the fist brought with it a howling gust of wind. At that moment, Qi Feng realized that something was wrong. In an instant, Qi Feng tapped the ground with his toes and retreated. He was agile and easily dodged the attack. Lin Yan stared at Qi Feng in astonishment. Had this fellow flown just now? However, Lin Yan didn't have time to think about it. She hurriedly told Xing Qin and Ling Yu, the Hunters Guild is here to cause trouble. Beat them up. Not acting anymore? Xing Qin wiped the chicken blood from the corner of his mouth and stood up. Why are you acting? Someone is looking for trouble, replied Lin Yan. Immediately, Xing Qin looked at the dozens of evolvers and furrowed his brows. These people who had unintentionally released the power of evolution were definitely not ordinary evolvers. Even if he joined forces with Ling Yu, they would not have any chance of winning. It was impossible for these people to be from the Hunters Guild. They should be desperados among evolved people who would not abide by any rules of evolved people. Everyone, we are from the Pei clan. Please give us some face and leave, Xing Qin said after a while. Pei family? Hearing this, a small portion of the evolvers looked at each other. Which Pei family? One of the evolvers asked. Cloud Manor, Xing Qin replied. Someone had offered a high price for Lin Yan's life. The price was tempting, but the Pei family was one of them. So what if it's the Pei family? We don't even care about the Hunters Guild. Why would we be afraid of the Pei family? An evolved being sneered coldly. Are you really not giving the Pei family any face? Xing Qin's expression gradually turned cold. Of course not. Then there's no other way. Xing Qin glanced at Lin Yan. Sister Yan, run. End of this chapter. Chapter 1006. If they had to deal with a few people, it wouldn't be a problem. However, there were so many people. They couldn't beat them. Instinctively, Lin Yan pulled Wang Jingyang and ran to the back. Are you not going to care about me? Qi Feng was also extremely fast as he followed Lin Yan closely. Qi Feng, are you also an evolved being? Lin Yan glanced at Qi Feng. Oh, now isn't the time to talk about this. Qi Feng smiled awkwardly. Lin Yan was speechless. If she had known that this job would be so dangerous, she wouldn't have accepted it. There were dozens of evolved beings behind them. Other than physical evolved beings, there were also quite a number of evolved beings with brains. How could they let Lin Yan and the others leave so easily? In a few minutes, Lin Yan, Xing Chen, and the others were surrounded. That's not right. Suddenly Lin Yan realized something and frowned. Why should I run? Why should I be afraid of them? Even the black-robed man isn't my match. How can these stinky fish and prawns do? Wang Jingyang was speechless. That's right. Xing Chen's eyes flickered. Sister Yan, teach these arrogant fools a lesson. I advise you to go back to where you came from. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Lin Yan glanced at the evolved beings around her and said coldly. Hearing this, more than 10 evolvers suddenly laughed. One of them said, Do you really think you're that strong? Miss Lin, this piece of trash looks down on you. Xing Chen glanced at Lin Yan. Ling Yu frowned. Sister Yin, I don't know what you're thinking, but if it were me, I would definitely let them know what cruelty is. Lin Yan was speechless. Xing Chen and Ling Yu were singing the same tune. Were they trying to stir up trouble? We only want this woman's fate. As for the others, they can leave if they want. However, if they want to protect her, they will die here tonight. You guys sure have big words. Lin Yan hissed coldly. A woman in her early 30s sneered. We'll only know if it's a provocation after we try. The woman leaped and appeared beside Lin Yan. The power of an evolved being surged as she tried to kill Lin Yan with a single blow. Instinctively, Lin Yan threw a punch at him. Wang Jingyang stood behind Lin Yan so no one could see him. However, his fingers, which were hidden in his black robe, twitched slightly. Wow! In the blink of an eye, the woman fell heavily to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. The woman's face was as white as a sheet as she stared at Lin Yan in shock. F***CK me, Xing Chen and Ling Yu looked at each other. This was too terrifying. Previously they had doubted whether Lin Yan was powerful. However, it seemed like she was indeed powerful. Did that mean that Lin Yan had relied on her own abilities to defeat the black-robed man that night? Lin Yan gazed at the woman who had fallen to the ground. Her face was brimming with confidence. Again? Let's attack together. This woman isn't simple either. Don't hold back and kill her directly. One of the evolvers shouted. Immediately, more than 10 evolvers charged over together, while a few other evolvers with brains displayed their evolved abilities from behind. However, Lin Yan wasn't the slightest bit afraid of these people. A cold glint appeared in Wang Jingyang's eyes. In a split second, an indescribable pressure of an evolved being surged in all directions. A second later, both the evolved beings with brains and the evolved beings who were close to Lin Yan felt as though they had been struck by lightning. As though they had discussed it beforehand, they fell to the ground at the same time and fainted. End of this chapter. Chapter 1007. Xing Chen and Ling Yu's faces were filled with disbelief and shock as they looked at the dozens of evolved beings who had been extremely arrogant but had now completely fainted. No one saw what Lin Yan had done, but dozens of evolved beings with extraordinary abilities had fainted just like that. This. Xing Chen glanced at Lin Yan before sizing up the dozens of unconscious evolved beings. My actions have exceeded the limits of Xing Chen and Ling Yu's understanding. Even Lin Yan was shocked. She didn't know what she had done. Those people seemed to have fainted on their own. Even Lin Yan was shocked. She had no idea what she had done. Those people seemed to have fainted on their own. Miss Lin, what did you do? How did this happen? Xing Chen gazed at Lin Yan, his eyes filled with admiration. I don't know either. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Xing Chen was speechless. Miss Lin, do you need a disciple? You're also an evolved being and so am I. Why don't I acknowledge you as my master and you acknowledge me as your disciple? Xing Chen stared at Lin Yan. They were both evolved beings. He looked at Lin Yan and then at himself. The gap between them wasn't small at all. Xing Chen finally believed that Lin Yan couldn't be a mere F-class evolved being. There had to be something wrong with the equipment or Lin Yan's level was too high for ordinary equipment to detect. Should we leave this place first? Qi Feng asked. Kid, did I bring these people here for you? Xing Chen's gaze landed on Qi Feng as he spoke coldly. Qi Feng shook his head and hurriedly said, Of course not. I don't even know them. Why would you think that? Before Lin Yan could reply, a round of applause came from afar. Lin Yan and the others seemed to size up the rain. They saw a young man walking slowly toward them. I should have guessed it long ago. If it was really you, how could these small fries be your match? Am I right? The man approached Lin Yan with a smile. Lin Yan furrowed her eyebrows when she saw the man. Of course, Lin Yan was familiar with this man. He was a pure evolved being who could even control beasts. If she remembered correctly, his name was Si Bai. Did you find these people? Lin Yan glared at Si Bai and asked coldly. Si Bai nodded and said, Indeed, I asked them to kill you. Unfortunately, these people are no match for you. Who are you? Xing Chen's gaze fell on Si Bai as he shouted sternly. Si Bai immediately looked at Xing Chen, and an inexplicable luster appeared in his eyes. In the next second, blood seeped out of the corner of Xing Chen's mouth, and he took a few steps back. What are you doing? Haven't you used up all the chicken blood? Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen in confusion. Xing Chen frowned deeply. Miss Lin, it's not chicken blood, it's really my blood. This person's spiritual power is so strong. Lin Yan glanced at Si Bai thoughtfully. Very powerful. I don't think so. Si Bai had been beaten up badly by her last time. I told you a long time ago that you got the wrong person. If you continue to pester me, don't blame me for being rude, Lin Yan told Si Bai. Chapter 1008. Did you recognize the wrong person? The corners of Si Bai's mouth curled up slightly. Could there really be such a coincidence in this world? However, regardless of whether you deny the wrong person, whether you admit it or not, you will still have to bear the consequences of your own actions. Dying at the hands of the first generation of perfect test subjects that you personally created, that feeling should be very good. Lin Yan was bewildered when she heard Si Bai. What did he mean by the first generation of perfect test subjects? Lin Yan couldn't understand a single word that Si Bai had said. Swoosh. Without giving Lin Yan a chance to speak, Xing Chen suddenly moved. Xing Chen was extremely fast. He appeared in front of Si Bai in an instant and threw a punch at him. A powerful and pure brain-powered evolved being like him had a very weak body. As long as a physical evolved being like him got close, everything would be fine. Xing Chen had already made up his mind. When this man was unprepared, he would approach him as quickly as possible and give him a fatal blow. As long as he couldn't react in time, they would win. However, to Xing Chen's surprise, a copper wall suddenly fell as if by magic and happened to block Si Bai's side. Boom. A deafening sound came like the sound of a bell in the morning. It hurt one's eardrums. What is this? Lin Yan was astonished. How could this be? Not only could Si Bai control ferocious beasts, but he was also a freaking magician. Create matter? Ling Yu's eyes widened. Impossible. Xing Chen frowned deeply. Unless he's a god, he can't create matter. Then why? Ling Yu stared at the copper wall beside Si Bai in disbelief. Xing Chen retracted his fist. A deep hole had been punched into the copper wall by Xing Chen. A second later, the copper wall disappeared as though it had never appeared. Did you perform magic? Lin Yan glanced at Si Bai in surprise. You should know this ability very well, right? You're the origin. Si Bai glanced at Lin Yan and chuckled softly. Behind them, Wang Jingyang sized up Si Bai with a strange expression. This man had to have recognized the wrong person. Otherwise, he would have recognized him. However, if he had recognized the wrong person, thinking of this, Wang Jingyang's expression suddenly changed, and he did not dare to continue thinking about it. He was afraid that time would not be so simple. What he thought was over might not be over. What nonsense are you spouting? I already told you that you have the wrong person, Lin Yan hissed coldly. However, Si Bai didn't say anything. After the bronze wall disappeared, a powerful mental force surged, as if it wanted to burn Lin Yan's soul completely. Lin Yan felt a bone-chilling pain as her soul shuddered in agony. At that moment, Lin Yan's mind was in a mess. Countless blurry images appeared in her mind. Those unfamiliar yet incomparably familiar memories came one after another. The first thing that appeared in his mind was a pack of ferocious wolves. The little girl hid behind the adults and stuck her head out. She curiously sized up the boy with long hair wrapped in animal skin who stood in the middle of the wolf pack. There was no human emotion in the boy's eyes, only the ferocity of a wild beast. This kind of fierceness made the girl feel fear, and she didn't dare to get close. However, she was still very curious. This was the first time the girl who had never seen the outside world was curious. Chapter 1009. She had been living a secluded life in the Mu family. The little girl had never had any contact with outsiders. Her life seemed to repeat itself every day. Every day she would read, write, draw and train. This was the first time the little girl had left the huge Mu family. Everything was new to her. The little boy standing among the wolves with a fierce look in his eyes was the first outsider she met after leaving the Mu family with her parents. The little girl saw many servants chasing and beating the wolves. The little boy's movements were no different from those of the wolves. He resisted with all his might, but he was also beaten and kicked by the servants. How could an ordinary person be compared to an evolved person, let alone a little boy? Mother, the little girl couldn't bear it. She looked at the beautiful woman beside her. Little Yan, be a good girl. The woman squatted down and picked up the little girl. Stop, all of you. The woman quickly stopped them. As the woman's voice subsided, the servant who was chasing the wolves away finally stopped. One of the white wolves howled. Seeing the little boy being pressed to the ground, it pounced on him like a madman. Let him go, the woman said. Yes, mistress. The little boy was released. The white wolf that rushed past licked the little boy's cheek. This child couldn't have been raised by wolves, right? He's actually mixed in with a wolf pack. Look at his eyes, there's only the fierceness of a beast in them. I'm afraid he'll be a disaster in the future, one of the followers said. The woman walked toward the little boy. Seeing this, the attendants looked at each other. Mistress, it's fine, the woman said with a smile. Hearing this, the followers didn't continue to speak. Soon, the woman successfully approached the little boy and squatted down. The little boy looked at the woman warily, but he still stood there without moving. Do you have parents? The woman's tone was very gentle. The little boy didn't speak. He stared straight at the woman. Do you have a name? The woman continued to ask. However, the little boy still didn't speak. Mother, is he mute? The little girl held the woman's hand and asked curiously. Mistress, I'm afraid this child was raised by wolves. I don't think he can speak, one of the servants said. This child is so pitiful. The woman reached out and wanted to touch the boy's head. However, the boy instinctively dodged. The woman sighed and said to her attendant, bring some food over. Soon, the woman passed the food to the boy. The boy took the food and there was finally a ripple in his eyes. He took the food and quickly ran to the wolves. He carefully placed the food in the mouth of a white wolf. The white wolf's entire body was dirty, and its snow-white fur had already turned brown. After the white wolf ate some of the food, it refused to continue eating the rest of the food and used its mouth to bring it to the child's hand. Only then did the little boy start wolfing down the food. Let's go. After a long while, the woman finally spoke. Mother, doesn't he have parents? The little girl widened her eyes and looked back at the little boy from time to time. The little boy stood on the spot and looked at the girl curiously. That white wolf is his parents, the woman explained softly. But, that white wolf is very old. He shouldn't be able to live for long. What about him? The little girl said worriedly. The woman sighed and didn't continue speaking. After walking for a long time, the little girl suddenly said, Mother, there are so many people in our Mu family. Can we bring that little brother back to the Mu family? Chapter 10:10. Little Yan, be a good girl. Remember, only when you work hard and become stronger can you help more people like this, right? The woman squatted down and held the little girl's hands. Yes, that's right. The little girl nodded. When I grow up, if I have the ability, I will help many people like this so that they don't have to suffer hunger and pain anymore. Hearing this, the woman's face was filled with relief. Then remember what you said today, the woman said with a smile. Yes, Mother, I won't forget. The little girl nodded. All right, then Mother promises you that I won't let your kindness be rejected, the woman said softly. The caravan returned the way they came. The little boy was still standing in the garden with the wolf pack behind him. Mistress, that white wolf is dead. It probably died of old age, one of the followers said. Hearing this, the woman sighed and walked toward the little boy. Are you willing to come home with me? The little boy glanced at the woman, then at the dead white wolf in his arms. Not long after, the little boy shed tears as he gently wiped the dust off the white wolf's fur. Little big brother, come home with us. This place is so cold and there's nothing to eat. Our house is very warm. The little girl mustered up her courage and said softly to the little boy. Hearing this, the little boy wiped his tears and looked up at the girl. Mother, let's help little big brother bury that white wolf, okay? The girl said. Okay. The woman nodded. After comforting the little boy for a long time, she took out the white wolf's body from his arms and buried it in the ground. Suddenly, tears flowed down the little boy's eyes again. After an unknown period of time, the little boy was led by the little girl as they walked into the distance. With every step, the little boy would turn back and look at the wolf pack as if he was bidding farewell to his family. For a very, very long time, not a single wolf left. All eyes were focused on the little boy, and a rare expression of reluctance appeared in their bestial eyes. "We will take good care of little big brother. Don't worry, we will come back to see you." The girl turned around and waved at the wolf pack. When the girl's voice fell, the wolf pack licked their lips and howled before turning around and leaving. I don't know how much longer in the huge clan. The little boy looked at everything curiously, as if everything should have existed in his memory, but at the same time, it shouldn't have. Everything was like an illusion, causing him to be unable to distinguish what was real and what was fake. "This is a drumstick?" The girl stared at the boy and placed the chicken drumstick in the boy's hand. "It's a drumstick," the boy said softly. "Yes, it's a drumstick. Mommy made it myself." The girl smiled. "Thank you." The bestiality in the boy's eyes seemed to have dissipated, and there was a rare shyness on his face. "Big brother wolf, why don't you like the name Mommy gave you?" the little girl asked. "I don't like it." The little boy shook his head. "How about I give you a name?" the girl said with a smile. Sure. The little boy looked at the girl and nodded repeatedly. What is it?" The little girl lowered her head in thought. After a moment she suddenly said, "How about Mu Yang? Bathing in the morning sun? I hope that every day in the future will be as warm as the blazing sun." End of chapter. Chapter 10-11. The memories that didn't belong to her surged into the depths of Lin Yan's mind like a tidal wave. Those faces that she was unwilling to forget, as well as those voices and smiles that she had never forgotten but had already passed away. "Mu Yan, are you all right? Don't forget me. Mu Yan, all the best. Mu Yan, you have to King live. Don't let me see you in the next 100 years. Xiaoyan, save me. I don't want to die. Xiaoyan, don't die. Mu Yan, you be starred. Have you forgotten me just like that? We are an iron triangle. Live well in love." In the dark night, Lin Yan let out a series of screams. A terrifying wave of air rose from her body, and the dozens of evolved beings who had fainted were instantly sent flying by this wave of air. "Lin Yan." Wang Jingyang squatted down and comforted Lin Yan. I'm here. Xiaoyan. *CK. Xing Chen and Ling Yu looked at each other. What had happened? It had only been a few seconds. That man must have used his mental strength to attack Sister Yan. Ling Yu said anxiously. Xing Chen frowned. No matter how high Miss Lin's evolution level is, she doesn't have much experience. Besides, it's a physical evolution. She definitely can't withstand that kind of pure mental attack. ****. Xing Chen bellowed and flew to see Bai's side. However, just like before, the bronze wall appeared again. It blocked Xing Chen outside. Although Xing Chen's fist was hard, the bronze wall was even harder. Given his strength, he still couldn't break the bronze wall's defense. The painful memories drowned Lin Yan like a tidal wave. Those familiar smiling faces could no longer be found in her memories. They had existed before, and every single one of them had made her work hard and unforgettable. Every single one of them had been indispensable in her life. Now everything was like a passing word. Those familiar smiling faces and the scene of them fooling around, they smiled and blessed her. At the last moment of despair, they still stood in front of her. How could she forget them? What right did she have to forget them? How could she forget them? Mu Yan, I'll give you a little flower. Mu Yan, remember? Death isn't scary. What's scary is that you no longer have the desire to live. I know that you'll forget us. Live well, your knight will always be here. Mu Yan, I really like you. Don't die in front of me. If I die one day, remember to burn a few men for me. I want some good-looking ones. But before that, I will always be by your side. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. It was like a nightmare that made Lin Yan's head explode. She remembered those faces. She would never be able to let go of the past. Lin Yan's screams intensified. Xing Chen clenched his teeth, turned back and said hurriedly, "Let's leave with Miss Lin first. That person is too strong." Why? Suddenly Lin Yan's screams stopped and her hair fell to the ground. What? Ling Yu walked forward and squatted beside her. Sister Yan, what did you say? What? Why is it me? Lin Yan's voice was laced with uncontrollable rage. End of chapter. Chapter 10-12. Xing Chen and Ling Yu were completely dumbfounded. They thought that Lin Yan had gone crazy because she had suffered a serious mental injury. The two of them watched as Lin Yan laughed unrestrainedly. The next moment she was overcome with grief as tears streamed down her cheeks. "Why is it me?" Lin Yan mumbled softly. "Miss Lin, are you all right? What are you talking about?" Xing Chen looked worried. Ling Yu placed her palm gently on Lin Yan's shoulder. "Get lost." To everyone's surprise, Lin Yan suddenly stood up as though she had been struck by lightning. Lin Yan bellowed furiously. In an instant, it was as though time had stopped because of Lin Yan's roar. Xing Chen and Ling Yu, who were squatting beside Lin Yan, felt as though their hearts had been grasped by an invisible force. Both of their pupils suddenly shrank. A second later there was a loud bang. Xing Chen and Ling Yu fainted on the spot due to Lin Yan's uncontrollable aura. "Xiaoyan?" Wang Jingyang stood up silently and gazed at the girl who was about to lose control. Tears trickled down his cheeks as he stood rooted to the ground. "I've always been here." Wang Jingyang stepped forward and hugged Lin Yan gently. "Besides, I've always been prepared. I'll let you live well. They won't be able to hurt you or the people around you anymore. As long as I'm still here, as long as I'm not dead. If I really leave one day, you'll forget me. You'll forget everything. I can't accept this." Their foreheads were tightly pressed against each other, but their tears were mixed together. No one knew exactly what they had experienced or what they were enduring. "Are you done with your act?" Si Bai stood in the distance and asked with a faint smile. As Si Bai's voice fell, Wang Jingyang slowly turned his head. His pair of terrifyingly calm eyes seemed to pierce through his heart. Si Bai couldn't help but frown. This was the first time he had seen such a terrifying gaze. Was this the gaze of a human? Why did he see a terrifying beast in this man's eyes? "You deserve to die." Wang Jingyang let go of Lin Yan and strode towards Si Bai with a gloomy expression. "Oh, I was negligent. You are indeed a terrifying body evolver, but you are not my match. Stop, it has nothing to do with you." Si Bai said, "I just want her life. Her debt will naturally be repaid." "You're the one who reminded her of despair and the abyss." Wang Jingyang didn't reply and just muttered to himself, "Interesting." The corners of Si Bai's mouth curled up slightly. "If you're courting death, don't blame me for not giving you a way out. You deserve to die." Wang Jingyang took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Si Bai. It was as if he had played with time and space and redefined time. Upon seeing this, Si Bai's expression suddenly changed, and he subconsciously retreated backward. Change the order of time and distort space? Si Bai looked at Wang Jingyang in surprise. But soon Si Bai shook his head. "Impossible. Could it be because it's an illusion caused by my speed? You've unlocked the gene." Swoosh. Wang Jingyang threw a punch. However, at the same time that Wang Jingyang made a move, an incomparably huge iron wall blocked in front of Si Bai. This bronze wall was many times stronger than the bronze wall that had blocked Xing Chen. It was as if a real bronze wall had descended into the world. End of this chapter. Chapter 10-13. Wang Jingyang stared at the iron wall in front of him and fell silent. "This will be the strongest defense, even if you unlock the gene." Before Si Bai could finish his sentence, Wang Jingyang had already thrown a punch. Rumble. An ear-splitting sound spread in all directions, and the iron wall in front of him exploded instantly. There was no longer anything between the two of them. Si Bai looked at Wang Jingyang, who was very close to him, with a look of disbelief in his eyes. How was that possible? In this world, which evolver could actually evolve his body to such a terrifying state? With just one punch, the defense he was so proud of was instantly shattered and no longer existed. Si Bai didn't have time to be shocked. As he retreated, a few indescribable huge beasts appeared out of thin air and blocked Wang Jingyang's path. Level 8 evolved beasts. Each of them has a Class S evolutionary power. You can try and see which of you has a stronger body. Si Bai sneered coldly. "I won't play with you today. If you want to protect that woman, remember to stay by her side at all times. Don't leave her side at all. I will be everywhere." Si Bai turned around and disappeared into the night. Wang Jingyang frowned as he watched the beasts pounce on him. That man's evolutionary power was really strange. He had never seen such an evolutionary power before. After dealing with the beasts, Wang Jingyang returned to Lin Yan's side. Lin Yan was still squatting on the ground. She was holding her head with both hands, as though she was experiencing an incomprehensible pain. "Xiaoyan, everything will return to normal. I will accompany you and wait for that person to come looking for you. Then I will take him and disappear forever. I might be ready." Wang Jingyang squatted down and gazed at Lin Yan. "Yang?" Lin Yan opened her reddish eyes, looking puzzled and nostalgic. She had all sorts of complicated emotions. "Xiaoyan, Long time no see. I miss you so much. Wang Jingyang stared at Lin Yan. Their eyes met, and in that instant, the rims of their eyes reddened. I miss you, I miss him, miss her? Lin Yan reached out her hand. I'm afraid. I've already unlocked the third stage gene. Xiaoyan, I'm ready, Wang Jingyang said with a smile. A third stage gene? You can't? Lin Yan shook her head. We've been on the run for a long time, haven't we? Wang Jingyang murmured. There's nothing left for us to lose. I'll take back what was taken from you with my own hands. My Tier 3 gene is always waiting for this battle. I will die. Lin Yan gritted her teeth. Compared to death, I'm more afraid. Wang Jingyang gazed at Lin Yan, his eyes filled with reluctance. He wanted to say something but he didn't. Do you still remember? We snuck out for a trip. That was the first time we saw the Azure Sea. Wang Jingyang shut his eyes as he watched Lin Yan's body emit a faint glow. Can you let me hear your voice again? In this world your reflection is everywhere, but Mayu, where do you want to go? Yan, I know you'll never give in to fate. But this time, please don't think about it again. Wang Jingyang gently wiped the tears from the corners of Lin Yan's eyes. He didn't know if he was still smiling. Chapter 10:14. Lin Yan gazed at Wang Jingyang as she reached out to grab something. However, there was nothing around her. In her mind, the man in her eyes appeared. He stretched out his hand, but his cold face could not hide the tenderness in his eyes. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and started to run away, crashing cars. Oblivion. The corners of Wang Jingyang's mouth curled up when he saw the glow on Lin Yan's body. He had never smoked, so he took a pack of cigarettes and a lighter from Xingqian. He lit the cigarette and the surroundings were filled with smoke. They just wanted to live, that was all. However, it was so difficult. However, her ability was really beautiful and special, but also very cruel. Go to sleep. I'll always be here. Wang Jingyang chuckled softly beside Lin Yan. After some time, Lin Yan felt a splitting headache. Her head felt like it was about to explode and everything in front of her was a little blurry. A few minutes later, Lin Yan snapped back to her senses. Lin Yan, you're finally awake. Wang Jingyang chuckled softly at Lin Yan. Muyang? Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang and spoke softly. At Lin Yan's words, the smile on Wang Jingyang's face vanished. A layer of mist formed in his eyes as tears trickled down his cheeks. He had a hard time pretending. Doggy, why are you crying? Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang and patted her head. Did I scare you? I'm sorry. I really didn't expect it to be so dangerous. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to come. Don't cry. I was wrong. Yeah, it scared me. I'm scared. After some time, Wang Jingyang grinned at Lin Yan. What's going on? Where's Sibai? Lin Yan staggered to her feet. She was still puzzled. Who was Muyang? Why had she felt a strong urge to call his name? However, she couldn't remember anything at all. What was going on? After Sibai appeared, she had a splitting headache. She had no memory of what happened after that. Xingqian, Lingyu, when she saw that Xingqian and Lingyu were still unconscious, she rushed forward to check on them. Xingqian took a deep breath as if he had been holding it in for a long time. Who sneak attacked me? Xingqian immediately stood up and looked around vigilantly. Previously he was fine, but his heart felt as if it was being squeezed tightly by someone, and then he lost consciousness. Not long after, Lingyu also woke up. Sister Yan, are you alright? Lingyu heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that Lin Yan was fine. Lin Yan nodded. I'm fine. It's good that you're fine. That man's power of evolution is so powerful. Where is he? Lingyu looked around. Xingqian and Lingyu deeply believed that they had fainted because of Sibai's power of evolution. They ran away, Wang Jingyang said. Ah, who chased him away? Asked Lin Yan curiously. You. Wang Jingyang laughed. Me? Lin Yan was startled. How could she have been chased away by him? She had no memory of it at all. Well, anyway, I only saw him being beaten away by you. I don't know anything else, Wang Jingyang said. Miss Lin, you're too strong. Xingqian's eyes widened as he stared at Lin Yan in astonishment. Lin Yan shook her head. I can't remember, but I was chased away. Oh yeah, where's Qifeng? That kid ran away a long time ago, replied Wang Jingyang. Lin Yan was speechless. End of this chapter. Chapter 10:15. Today he had almost failed miserably in a simple task. When she had faced Sibai previously, she had taken advantage of the fact that he was unprepared to beat him up with one punch. However, Sibai had learned his lesson today and started to target her. This was also Lin Yan's true understanding of the power of an evolved brain today. To put it bluntly, although Lin Yan had fought with an evolved brain like Si-Bai, it had only been a face-to-face encounter. Although it was a battle, it was at most a sneak attack. She had knocked Si-Bai to the ground with one punch. Tonight, Si-Bai had obviously come prepared. Even Xing Chen had not succeeded and had almost annihilated their entire army. She had always underestimated Si-Bai. Lin Yan hadn't expected the ability of an evolved brain to be so special. If that was the case, it would be impossible to guard against. She had to be careful in the future. Doggy, are you all right? Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang, feeling guilty. If it hadn't been for her, Wang Jingyang wouldn't have been in danger. I'm fine. I was just a little frightened, but what happened to you? Wang Jingyang asked Lin Yan and the others. Lin Yan smiled awkwardly. You might not believe me, but since you saw it, I'll tell you. Lin Yan had no choice but to tell Wang Jingyang about the evolved brain. Aren't you surprised at all? Lin Yan was puzzled when she saw Wang Jingyang's expressionless face. I'm surprised. Of course I'm surprised. I just couldn't come back to my senses. Wow, this is too cool. Wang Jingyang replied listlessly. Brother, don't tell anyone about what happened tonight. Xing Chen walked over and glanced at Wang Jingyang. Okay, I promise to keep my mouth shut. I won't say a word. Wang Jingyang nodded. Sister Yan, are we still filming? Asked Ling Yu. Lin Yan was speechless. What kind of international joke was this? No matter how much money he had, it wasn't as important as his life. Lin Yan called Chi Feng and told him to scram back. They waited for about half an hour before Chi Feng drove back. You ran faster than anyone, kid, Xing Chen said coldly as he glanced at Chi Feng. Fortunately, they did not have any relationship. If they had a slightly better relationship and were slightly more familiar with each other, Chi Feng's actions would make him a complete traitor. I'm not escaping. Actually, I'm going to find help. Chi Feng got out of the car and looked at Xing Chen and the others. Hearing this, the corners of Xing Chen's mouth twitched. Where are the helpers? Oh, I didn't find it. Chi Feng smiled awkwardly. Xing Chen, if he was afraid, then so be it. If he ran, then so be it. Why did he have to make himself sound so righteous? He even asked for help. How disloyal. Lin Yan glanced at Chi Feng. Chi Feng hurriedly said, I'm not loyal? Are you kidding me? I'm famous for my loyalty. I'm really going to find a helper, but as you know, helpers depend on fate. Maybe I'm not fated. By the time you find a helper, the cucumber will be cold. At that time, you can do the most loyal thing, and that is to help us collect the corpses. I'll burn some joss paper or something, Xing Chen said. Don't worry. I definitely won't shirk these small matters. Chi Feng nodded. Lin Yan was speechless. Wang Jingyang, Xing Chen, Ling Yu. Actually, Lin Yan didn't blame Chi Feng. This had nothing to do with Chi Feng, so there was no need to get involved because of them. Chapter 10:16. However, Lin Yan hadn't expected Chi Feng to be an evolved being. Chi Feng, you're an evolved being. Lin Yan glanced at Chi Feng thoughtfully. Hearing that, Chi Feng fell into silence. After a moment, he said, I am indeed an evolver. Xing Chen suddenly frowned. You're an evolved being. Why did you ask Miss Lin Yan to film a video? If you can't explain yourself today, I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to leave. Chi Feng frowned and glanced at Xing Chen. Kid. What do you mean? Who's a kid? Were you calling a kid? Xing Chen popped a lollipop into his mouth. Chi Feng was speechless. Miss Lin, I suspect that the man from before colluded with Chi Feng to trick us here, Xing Chen told Lin Yan. Chi Feng hurriedly denied it. This has nothing to do with me. That man didn't know him at all. Think about it. If I was really with him, I could have just brought him to Miss Lin Yan. Why would I go through so much trouble to bring you guys along? Chi Feng is right. Lin Yan nodded. Sister Yan, even if he isn't with that man, he must have a motive. We have to make him explain, said Ling Yu. Lin Yan's gaze landed on Chi Feng. After sizing him up, Lin Yan frowned. Chi Feng, you said that you've had a wuxia dream since you were young. Before Lin Yan could finish, Chi Feng pointed to the sky and swore. Miss Lin Yan, if I lied to you, I wouldn't be human. I really had a wuxia dream since I was young. You're an evolved being. Do you still need a wuxia dream? Lin Yan frowned. Chi Feng was puzzled. An evolved being is an evolved being, and a wuxia dream is a wuxia dream. Is there a conflict between the two? This, Xing Chen stared at Chi Feng. He wanted to retort, but he realized that this fellow's words made sense. Can't I sleep in a hotel just because I'm used to 5-star hotels? Can't I eat egg fried rice because I'm used to eating delicacies? Could I, Stop, stop, stop. Xing Chen hurriedly stopped Qi Feng, who was about to speak, and said, "All right, we believe that you have a wuxia dream. Please don't explain anymore. I'm afraid I'll lose control." Qi Feng, why did you ask us to film this video? I hope you can tell us the truth." Lin Yan stared at Qi Feng intently. Hearing this, Qi Feng fell silent. After a long time, Qi Feng said, "I have a wuxia dream." Lin Yan was speechless. Xing Chen said, "That's enough." Okay. I'll tell you, okay?" Qi Feng sighed. "You know that devil, right?" "What devil?" Xing Chen did not understand. "It's that demoness," Qi Feng said. "Are you playing with me?" "Which demoness?" Xing Chen said angrily. "How would I know which demoness she is? That's what everyone calls her. She's quite a ruthless demoness. She's very famous in the circle of evolvers. However, she's very mysterious. Almost no one has seen her before," Qi Feng said. Lin Yan was speechless. Ling Yu was speechless. So, the demoness that Qi Feng spoke of couldn't be the person that Sibai thought she was, right? Start updating, begging for double monthly tickets, la 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 la. End of this chapter. Chapter 10:17. Sibai wasn't the only one. Even Ling Yu had said that she was very similar to that demoness. Could she really be a demoness? Had she disappeared because she had been severely injured and lost her memory? Otherwise, how could she be so powerful? She had beaten the black-robed man and Sibai away. She was too powerful. If she was a demoness, that would explain everything. However, Lin Yan thought about it carefully. She didn't seem to have any incomplete memories. How could she be related to the demoness? Could she have a split personality? Or had Pei Yuqing possessed her and used her identity to become a demoness? The more she thought about it, the more ridiculous she found it. The hole in his imagination was indeed a little too big. Why haven't I heard of a demoness? Xing Chen was deep in thought. Oh, you must be ignorant. If you have nothing to do, go to the Evolved People's Forum. There are many secrets there. Qi Feng grinned. What? The Evolved People's Forum? There's such a thing? Xing Chen was startled. Do you know how to surf the internet? Asked Qi Feng. Xing Chen shook his head naturally. I don't know how to. Then it's fine, said Qi Feng. Xing Chen was speechless. Why did he feel like he was being looked down upon? So you approached us and asked the original crew to film a video. What does this have to do with the demoness? Lin Yan glanced at Qi Feng. Actually, an old man asked me to do that. He said that you and the demoness are a little similar. Besides, this lady also looks like someone, so he asked me to gather all of you and make a video for him to take a closer look, said Qi Feng. Old man? What old man? Ling Yu suddenly frowned. Was he going to film her too? I'm not sure. Qi Feng shook his head. I'm not sure. You'd better tell the truth. Ling Yu said abnormally. I really don't know. Qi Feng sighed. If you don't even know who he is, why did you agree to do such a thing for him? Why did you even spend money to hire us to film a video? Asked Lin Yan. There are 120,000 words in the world. Which word do you think can make a person lose himself? Qi Feng sighed. Power. Xing Chen instinctively said. Qi Feng shook his head and glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan replied without hesitation. Money? Qi Feng, is it love? Wang Jingyang asked softly. Qi Feng's eyes flickered when he heard Wang Jingyang's words. He couldn't help but clap. Yes, it's love. Lin Yan was speechless. Xing Chen, this brother understands it thoroughly. It's nothing more than love. Qi Feng sighed. Lin Yan stared at Qi Feng in surprise. So, you like that old man? Qi Feng, Xing Chen, Ling Yu, Wang Jingyang. Qi Feng frowned and said, What do you mean I like that old man? I like his daughter. He said that as long as I take a video of Miss Lin and Miss Ling Yu carefully, he will agree to let me date his daughter. *CK. I don't care if you like that old man or his daughter. Why did you betray us? Lin Yan looked displeased. Actually, none of this is important. Selling you? No, liking her daughter is just incidental. It's mainly because I've had a martial arts dream since I was young, Qi Feng said. End of chapter. Chapter 10:18. What does that old man look like? Ling Yu asked anxiously. Ling Yu's expression changed drastically when she heard Qi Feng's description. Her body began to tremble involuntarily. Lin Yan, who sensed Ling Yu's abnormality, frowned and asked, Ling Yu, what's wrong? Ling Yu glanced at Lin Yan and forced a smile. Sister Yan, it's fine. Are you really fine? Lin Yan couldn't help but feel worried when she saw that Ling Yu didn't look too good. She had a feeling that something was on her mind. Sister Yen, I'm really fine. Ling Yu forced a smile and told Lin Yen. Although Ling Yu didn't say anything, Lin Yen felt that Ling Yu was hiding something from her. Is the demoness you're talking about death? Wang Jingyang glanced at Qi Feng. Yes. That's right. Qi Feng nodded repeatedly. Apart from Qi Feng, everyone, including Lin Yen, turned to look at Wang Jingyang. What's wrong? Seeing this, Wang Jingyang was confused. Why were they all looking at him like that? Doggy, how did you know about this power? You even guessed correctly. Most importantly, you sound like you've heard of the demoness. Lin Yen stared at Wang Jingyang suspiciously. Even evolved beings like her and Xing Qin didn't know about it. How could an ordinary person like Wang Jingyang know? Besides Lin Yen, Xing Qin and Ling Yu also stared at Wang Jingyang in surprise. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Wang Jingyang was slightly taken aback when he heard Lin Yan's question. He suddenly recalled that he was just an ordinary person. As an ordinary person, how could he have mentioned death? A mistake. It was a complete mistake. All this. Listen to me. Actually, I accidentally clicked into the Evolved Beings forum that the brother mentioned and read many posts. I thought they were made up by a bunch of lunatics. Wang Jingyang rolled his eyes and immediately found an excuse. Brother, are you joking? Qi Feng stared at Wang Jingyang. No, I'm telling the truth, replied Wang Jingyang. Impossible. Qi Feng shook his head and said, the Evolved Forum has been encrypted since it was established. Without multiple passwords, it's impossible to log into the Evolved Forum. If you're just an ordinary person, where did you get the password? Or could it be that you are actually an evolved person? You deliberately pretended to be an ordinary person. Oh, you want to live an ordinary life, am I right? Wang Jingyang. Right my ass. Lin Yen couldn't help but laugh when she heard Qi Feng say that Wang Jingyang was an evolved being who had deliberately disguised as an ordinary person. In this world, perhaps even Wang Jingyang's parents did not understand Wang Jingyang as well as she did. Lin Yen and Wang Jingyang had known each other for a long time. They were all too aware of his personality, capabilities, and abilities. It could even be said that they understood each other better than they understood themselves. If Wang Jingyang was an evolved person, she would have killed herself on the spot. It's actually like this, Wang Jingyang thought for a moment and said, I'm a professional hacker. Not to mention layers of encryption. Even if you encrypt it 100 times, a hacker of my level can still easily crack it. End of this chapter. Chapter 10:19. Are you a hacker? Lin Yen glanced at Wang Jingyang in confusion. Why hadn't she known? Of course. There are many things you don't know. Wang Jingyang sneered coldly. How could I not know that you have hacking skills? There are many things that I don't know. Give me an example. For example? Lin Yen stared at Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang pondered for a moment before he sneered coldly. For example, am I the god of cookery? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she heard Wang Jingyang. This slap in the face had come too suddenly, and she couldn't accept it emotionally. Indeed, she had only found out today that Wang Jingyang's culinary skills were so good. Perhaps it was because Wang Jingyang had never cooked before. Wang Jingyang added, it's easy for a hacker to crack 1 or 2 passwords. That's why I said that the so-called encryption system of the Evolved Forum isn't good at all. Why don't you hire a professional hacker such as me to perfect the encryption? That way it'll be very safe. Yes, brother, what you said makes sense. Leave your contact information. I'm good friends with the administrator of the forum. We plan to ask you to design an encryption system for the forum, said Qi Feng. Wang Jingyang was speechless. He had just said it casually. What did he know about hacking skills? No way. Lin Yen frowned and told Qi Feng, it will take at least half a month to complete this encryption system. It's too tiring. Wang Jingyang glanced at Lin Yen, feeling touched. Lin Yen gritted her teeth. You have to pay more. Wang Jingyang yelled, Lin Yen, damn you. You money can. Lin Yen glanced at Wang Jingyang. You husky. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Did we stray from the topic? Didn't we just talk about death? Xing Qin couldn't help but ask. Lin Yen nodded and asked, what kind of power is death? What does it mean? Destroying the world and gradually moving towards death. Ling Yu replied softly. They are indeed arrogant. Destroying the world? Why don't they destroy the universe? Xing Qin sneered coldly. Wang Jingyang's expression became more and more doubtful. He knew Mu Yen too well. Lin Yen and that demoness had nothing to do with death. Wang Jingyang couldn't understand why people would think that Lin Yen was that demoness. Naturally, Wang Jingyang did not have any relationship with death, nor had he ever seen the she-devil. If Lin Yan was the demoness, how could he not know? Wang Jingyang couldn't understand what had happened. Actually, Wang Jingyang had only heard of this organization. The leader of this organization was a woman. In the circle of evolvers, this woman was known as the She-Devil. As for how old the She-Devil was, as well as her appearance and personality, very few people knew. The She-Devil herself was like a mystery. Before Wang Jingyang could continue thinking, a faint light flashed in his eyes. Immediately, Wang Jingyang calmly sized up the dark corner. Someone is secretly taking pictures of us. Wang Jingyang realized that he was just an ordinary person, so he didn't do anything himself. Instead, he turned to Lin Yan and the others. As soon as Wang Jingyang's voice fell, Xing Chen instantly moved. In less than 10 seconds, Xing Chen had caught a little fatty. End of chapter. Chapter 10:20. The chubby boy had a camera around his neck and was dressed casually. He looked like an ordinary person. Who are you? Xing Chen stared at the chubby boy. The chubby boy shuddered as beads of perspiration formed on his forehead. I just happened to pass by. The chubby boy's eyes were filled with fear. You brought a camera with you? Asked Lin Yan curiously. The chubby boy nodded. Yeah. I just wanted to record the beauty of the night, so I brought a camera with me. It's a habit of mine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Xing Chen, take a look at his camera. Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen. Hearing this, Xing Chen nodded and immediately removed the little fatty's camera from his neck. Other than photos, there were also many videos of them. There was even a video of Lin Yan chasing the black-robed man away. Miss Lin, take a look. Xing Chen passed the chubby boy's camera to Lin Yan. Lin Yan took the camera from Xing Chen and scrutinized it carefully. After a while, Lin Yan frowned. Were you the one who took the video? Lin Yan's eyes landed on the chubby boy. The chubby boy's expression changed drastically as he shook his head frantically. No, it wasn't me. It really wasn't me. I didn't see anything. I don't know anything. It wasn't you? Xing Chen strode forward and raised his hand. Lower your head. The chubby boy instinctively bowed his head. Xing Chen slapped the chubby boy's head. It hurts. It hurts so much. The chubby boy wailed like a ghost. Pain my ass. I didn't even use any force. Xing Chen bellowed. Are you a drama queen? I really didn't take it. It has nothing to do with me. The chubby boy replied. Are you insulting our intelligence? You didn't take the photos in the camera. Did I? Xing Chen sneered coldly. The camera? Oh yeah, I picked it up just now. It wasn't mine at all. The chubby boy replied. Xing Chen was completely dumbfounded by little fatty's words. He felt as though his intelligence had been humiliated by little fatty. Didn't you just say that you have a habit of recording the beautiful world at night when you run at night? How come you're the one who picked up the camera now? Xing Chen sneered. Big brother, I was wrong. Can I delete it? I won't dare to do it again. I was the one who took it last time. Please don't kill me. I have an 80-year-old mother and 3 children waiting to be fed. My wife is disabled and I'm not in good health. I'm the only support of my family. If you kill me, my family's sky will fall. Little fatty looked at everyone in fear. ID, Xing Chen said impatiently. Yes. Fatty hurriedly took out his wallet and handed it to Xing Chen. I want your F*King ID. Who wants your money? Do you think I'm robbing you? Xing Chen yelled. My ID is in my wallet, the chubby boy said carefully. Xing Chen glared fiercely at the little fatty, then immediately took out the little fatty's wallet from his wallet. Xing Chen looked at little fatty's date of birth and frowned deeply. He stared at little fatty and said, I'm 17 years old this year. End of this chapter. Chapter 10:21. Yeah, I'm just a kid. The chubby boy nodded. Oh, 17 years old. You said that your mother is 80 years old. You have 3 hungry children and a disabled wife? Xing Chen said thoughtfully, come on, lower your head. Slap. Xing Chen slapped the chubby boy's head again. Bah. Big brother, don't kill me. I was wrong. I won't dare lie again. The chubby boy wailed in fright. You don't learn good things at such a young age. You like to secretly take pictures, don't you? You like to lie, don't you? I'll make your 80-year-old mother suffer, your disabled wife suffer, and your 3 children cry piteously for food. Xing Chen stood on his tiptoes and gave the little fatty 3 smacks on the head. Delete the video you took tonight. If I find out that you're playing tricks, you're dead. Xing Chen tossed the camera at the chubby boy. The chubby boy took the camera aggrievedly and deleted the video reluctantly. Big brother and big sister, are you really evolved beings? Can humans really evolve? Do they have superpowers? Just like in the movies? The chubby boy noticed that Xing Chen and Lin Yan weren't as cruel as he had imagined, so he mustered his courage and asked, "Haven't you been beaten up enough?" Xing Chen bellowed, "No, no, no. I won't ask any more. I don't know anything. I didn't hear anything. Please don't kill me, big brother." The chubby boy was on the verge of crying. Xing Chen turned to Lin Yan. "Miss Lin, how is this chubby boy's acting?" Lin Yan grinned thoughtfully. "It seems like he won Best Actor. I reckon even Pei Nanshu can't compare to him." "I think so too. He's a pure actor." Xing Chen sighed heavily. Lin Yan sighed heavily. "We never thought of killing you or silencing you. Did you act too much?" "There's nothing to silence. Sister Lin Yan, I was wrong. I'm your hardcore fan." The chubby boy stared at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. How could there be a fan who could act better than her? She refused to acknowledge such a fan. "Listen to me. The video that you shot last time actually caused us a lot of trouble. Do you know that? I hope that you won't do that again," Lin Yan told the fatty solemnly. According to Pei Yuqing, the video from last time had been widely circulated in the evolved human circle. It had even spread to the evolved human circle abroad. It might cause serious trouble in the future. As for why there would be trouble, he didn't elaborate. Hence, Lin Yan had no idea. However, since Pei Yuqing had mentioned this, there would definitely be trouble. All of this was because of this irresponsible little fatty. What the hell? "Sister Lin Yan, don't worry. I won't post it again. The last time, I didn't recognize you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have posted it." Fatty pointed at the sky and swore. He looked as though he would be struck by lightning. Lin Yan glanced at him strangely. "You said that you didn't recognize me last time? Didn't you just say that you're my hardcore fan?" Fatty was speechless. "Miss Lin Yan, I told you that this kid is a drama queen. We have to teach him a lesson. Otherwise he won't remember." Xing Chen gritted his teeth in anger. End of this chapter. Chapter 1022. He was so good at acting at such a young age. Why didn't he become an actor? "Don't hit me. I was wrong." The chubby boy instinctively covered his head. "Forget it. Let him go." Lin Yan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This was the first time she had seen such a drama queen. Staring at the fatty's ID card, Xing Chen said, "Let me tell you, I've memorized your address. Don't you dare play any tricks. If you send anything to the internet again, I'll follow the address on your ID card and go straight to your house." All right. I'll move tomorrow." "No, I'll quit using a camera tomorrow. I won't take photos secretly anymore," the chubby boy vowed. "Let's go." Xing Chen returned the ID card to the chubby boy. After leaving, the chubby boy ran as fast as he could, afraid that Xing Chen would catch up to him and beat him up. After running for a few kilometers, the chubby boy finally stopped, panting. "Idiot. You know that I'm a drama queen, yet you're still so easily fooled by me." The chubby boy grinned and took out a memory card. Then, the little fatty inserted the memory card into the camera. Mu Yan. Is Sister Lin Yan's name Mu Yan? At this moment, little fatty was sitting on the grass, looking at the footage he had taken today, deep in thought. From the moment Bai had appeared to the moment Lin Yan had lost control, to the moment Wang Jingyang had hugged and comforted her, everything, including their conversation, had been played clearly on the chubby boy's camera. It's too touching. *CK, I'm still a single dog. I thought it was a superpower blockbuster, but it turned out to be a romance film. That little brother is so amazing and touching. I must upload this online. I want everyone to see the purest love. The chubby boy took out a tissue from his pocket and wiped his snot. Could it be that there really are evolved beings in this world? The little fatty's face was full of excitement after he turned off the video. Although he had seen it with his own eyes tonight, he still found it hard to accept, especially when he had seen the battle between Wang Jingyang and Bai, the giant beast that had appeared out of thin air, and even the terrifying iron wall. It was too exaggerated. They must be evolved beings. They definitely have superpowers. The chubby boy was increasingly certain. If he really uploaded this video online, would Lin Yan and that child really find his house and kill him? If that really didn't work, he would have to move. Lin Yan, Wang Jingyang, and the others were still there. Ling Yu seemed to have a lot on her mind and was not in the right state of mind. Xing Chen asked her several times, but Ling Yu seemed to be absent-minded. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Qi Feng glanced at Lin Yan and the others. Let's go. Lin Yan waved her hand dismissively. You betrayed your friends. Bastard. Chi Feng, who had just turned to leave, suddenly walked back. Miss Lin Yan, please watch your words. You can ask around. I'm famous for being loyal and willing to risk my life for my friends. I think you're stabbing a friend for your own benefit, quipped Lin Yan. Sigh, alright, I was wrong, but I really didn't have any bad intentions. That old man's daughter is indeed beautiful. No, that old man really doesn't look like a bad person. I just helped him along the way. I definitely won't do it next time, alright? Chi Feng sighed. I can forgive you, but there are conditions. Lin Yan frowned. Chi Feng was slightly taken aback. Soon after, he patted his chest and said, alright, as long as I can do it, tell me. End of chapter. Chapter 1023. Pay us double for tonight's video. Take it as compensation for our emotional losses, Lin Yan said solemnly. Xing Chen was speechless, the baffled Wang Jingyang. Ling Yu, who was distracted, was speechless. You're too evil. Chi Feng gritted his teeth. The price he had been willing to pay was already extremely high. He had asked him to pay double because he felt guilty, he wanted to die. Phone QR code. I'll scan it. Chi Feng gritted his teeth. Lin Yan, who had a solemn expression on her face, suddenly chuckled. Indeed, we didn't misjudge you. We believe in you. You're loyal. Xing Chen was speechless. I don't believe you. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Ling Yu was speechless. After scanning the QR code, Lin Yan glanced at her account balance and grinned in satisfaction. Are you hungry? I'll treat you to a meal. Miss Lin Yan, I've finally seen it. You change your attitude faster than flipping a book. You're really the first. Chi Feng sighed heavily. The guilt in his heart had vanished. Are you eating or not? If not, go home and report to the Aurora team tomorrow. Lin Yan glanced at Chi Feng. I'll eat. I'll definitely eat. Cheap. Chi Feng replied. He had given her so much money, so why wouldn't she eat? He had to at least make Lin Yan pay tonight. Do you want to go home and rest? Lin Yan glanced at Xing Chen and the others. The corners of Xing Chen's mouth twitched as he glanced at Lin Yan. Miss Lin Yan, you asked us to film without hesitation. We worked hard all night and almost lost our lives. It's fine that you didn't give us a single cent. But you're treating us to a meal and asking us to go home and rest. Isn't that a little? Lin Yan was speechless. She hadn't realized it before, but after hearing Xing Chen's words, she realized that she was a little stingy. That shouldn't be the case. I got it. Let's go together. Lin Yan sighed. She was going to spend money again. Lin Yan's eyes trailed to Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang glared at Lin Yan and bellowed coldly, Lin Yan, you're a money grubber. You didn't give me a single cent to work with you and put me in danger. If you dare to ask me if I eat, I will kill you. I'm serious. Lin Yan furrowed her eyebrows and studied Wang Jingyang for a long time. After some time she replied, even if I don't bring the whole world with me, I won't leave you behind. Wang Jingyang's expression turned unnatural when he heard Lin Yan. His heart ached for her. Doggy, I'll give you $200. Go buy some groceries and we'll go to your house to eat. Lin Yan grinned and fished out 200 yuan bills from her pocket. She then handed them to Wang Jingyang. Even Chi Feng and Xing Chen were dumbfounded, let alone Wang Jingyang. Giving Wang Jingyang 200 yuan to buy groceries? To eat at Wang Jingyang's house? Was this what Lin Yan meant by treating them to a meal? Lin Yan, you're a money grubber. Do you think I need your money? Wang Jingyang glared at Lin Yan and gritted his teeth. Good doggy. Lin Yan gave Wang Jingyang a big hug. Wang Jingyang, who was suddenly hugged by Lin Yan, had a complicated expression on his face. Lin Yan let go of Wang Jingyang and snatched the 200 yuan from his hand. End of this chapter. Chapter 1024. What are you doing? Wang Jingyang was puzzled. You don't need 200 yuan? I do. You can buy it yourself. Be good. Lin Yan grinned at him. Take it back. Who said that I don't need it? Wang Jingyang rolled his eyes at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. Why was he going back on his word? This rascal. Lin Yan had no choice but to pass the 200 yuan to Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang took the money and stuffed it into his pocket. He didn't want Lin Yan to regret her decision. You want me to cook at my place? You have to pay more, quipped Wang Jingyang. Given our relationship, isn't it easy to pay? Aren't you bronze? I'll bring you silver, quipped Lin Yan. Wang Jingyang deliberated for a moment before he replied, gold? Lin Yan replied, deal? It wasn't an easy meal either. They waited until dawn at Wang Jingyang's place before the dishes. which were worth 200 yuan, were served. Xing Chen, who was stunned by the aroma of the food, exclaimed, "It can't be. His cooking skills are so good." Wang Jingyang sneered coldly. "Keep a low profile. It's all because of your innate talent." Even Ling Yu, who was preoccupied with her own thoughts, was mesmerized by Wang Jingyang's cooking. "Try it. Don't stand on ceremony." Lin Yan grinned. "Then we won't stand on ceremony." Xing Chen was the first to pick up a piece of chicken. He had just placed it in his mouth when he realized that Ling Yu was glaring at him coldly. Xing Chen pushed the chicken away from his mouth and placed it in Ling Yu's bowl. Lin Yan was speechless. His desire to live. Everyone exclaimed in admiration when they picked up their chopsticks. They couldn't stop praising Wang Jingyang. "Brother Wang Jingyang, I have an idea." Xing Chen's eyes trailed to Wang Jingyang as he said, "I'll open a 5-star hotel. You can be the chef and we'll split the profits equally." Before Wang Jingyang could reply, Lin Yan frowned. "Get lost. How dare you poach my man in front of me?" Hearing that, Xing Chen smiled awkwardly. "Miss Lin, why don't we work together? I feel that with brother Wang Jingyang's culinary skills, if he doesn't do something and become a chef, then it's really, our racing team lacks a chef. If brother Wang Jingyang is willing to come, our team will pay this price." Chi Feng looked at Wang Jingyang and said, "Get lost. I'm not only good at cooking, I'm also a hacker. Am I going to be a network administrator?" Wang Jingyang said coldly, "That's fine too. I'll invest. Let's open an internet cafe and split the money we earn," Chi Feng said. Lin Yan was speechless. Wang Jingyang, Xing Chen, hackers and internet cafes. How were they related? "Where's the wine? Why didn't you buy any, Miss Lin?" Chi Feng was enjoying his meal when he realized that there was only plain water on the table. "Why would we drink? We're racers. We don't drive when we drink." "We don't drink when we drive," Lin Yan replied. Chi Feng was confused. "Miss Lin, I know that apart from being evolved humans, we're also excellent racers. However, what does this have to do with me drinking now? I'm not competing, I'm not on the track, and I'm not driving. Why can't I drink?" "Lin Yan, you're too stingy. We paid you so much, but you didn't even prepare any wine for us. Aren't you embarrassed?" Wang Jingyang frowned at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. End of this chapter. Chapter 1025. "Brother Xing Chen, do you want a drink?" Chi Feng looked at Xing Chen. Hearing this, Xing Chen smiled and nodded. "It doesn't matter whether I want to or not. It's fine if I don't drink. The main thing is that the dishes are too delicious. I feel that if I don't drink a cup or two, I'd be letting down brother Wang Jingyang's cooking. Miss Lin Yan, go and buy alcohol?" Chi Feng glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. "Xian, let me go. There's a new bar that sells good alcohol." "You don't know the way," Wang Jingyang told Lin Yan. "Okay, go ahead. Be careful." Lin Yan nodded. "Are you done?" Wang Jingyang stared at Lin Yan intently. "What's wrong?" Lin Yan was puzzled. "I'm going to run an errand to buy alcohol. You should pay for it." "Aren't you treating me?" Wang Jingyang said angrily. Lin Yan was speechless. "How much?" asked Lin Yan curiously. 1,000 a bottle, Wang Jingyang answered honestly. "Dog, although I'm not a human, you are a real dog. I'll give you 100 yuan to buy a carton of beer. If I don't drink you to death tonight, I'll change my surname to yours." Lin Yan glared at Wang Jingyang. "One bottle of wine for 1,000? Are you kidding? At this time the supermarkets are all closed. Only the liquor cabinet is open. 3 bottles are sold at a starting price of 1,000 a bottle. Do as you see fit." Wang Jingyang laughed. "Let's drink beer?" replied Lin Yan. "Why are you drinking beer?" Chi Feng was immediately unhappy. "I have gout. I can't drink beer." "You're an evolved being, yet you have gout?" The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. She felt as though she had been insulted. "Can evolvers have gout? I can't control my genes. It's normal for me to get cancer, let alone gout. I don't care. I want a bottle of wine for 1,000 yuan. "I can't drink beer," Chi Feng said. Lin Yan wanted to cry, but no tears would come. Why would she want to drink? She could save a lot of animals with 3,000 yuan. He could buy a lot of dog food and supplements, and he could also add some cat and dog kennels. These people were too extravagant. However, even though she said so, it was indeed not appropriate for her to go back on her words since she had said that she would treat them. "Scan the code." Lin Yan gritted her teeth as she spoke to Wang Jingyang. "Here." Wang Jingyang placed the QR code before Lin Yan. Wang Jingyang was all smiles when he received the money from Lin Yan. To buy alcohol? Lin Yin glanced at Wang Jingyang. What's the hurry? Wang Jingyang rolled his eyes at Lin Yin. Then, under everyone's astonished gazes, Wang Jingyang opened the drawer and took out 3 bottles of red wine. Lin Yan's jaw dropped to the ground as she stood rooted to the ground. Yen, look carefully. This red wine costs 1,000 yuan per bottle. I'm not lying to you. Wang Jingyang immediately placed 3 bottles of red wine on the dining table. Xing Qin stared at Wang Jingyang and suddenly clapped his hands. He was really impressed by Wang Jingyang's amazing performance. Wang Jingyang was well aware of how stingy Lin Yan was. He was afraid that he was the only person in the world who could scam Lin Yan out of 3,000 yuan. Pup, I was wondering why you were so attentive and took the initiative to buy alcohol. Now I understand. I might not be a human, but you're a real dog. Lin Yan glared at Wang Jingyang, wishing she could swallow him alive. She had seen shameless people before, but she had never seen someone as shameless as him. End of this chapter. Chapter 1026. There was wine at home, but he hadn't taken it out. She had even taken the initiative to fork out 3,000 yuan. You're a liar. Shameless. Lin Yan glared at Wang Jingyang. Wang Jingyang pursed his lips and glared at Lin Yan. How am I a liar? I did buy the wine, didn't I? Did it fly all the way to my house? 1,000 yuan per bottle isn't wrong. I didn't say that I went downstairs to buy the wine. Can I buy it earlier? Seriously? You're ruthless. Lin Yan gave Wang Jingyang a thumbs up. This time, Wang Jingyang would never be able to cheat her of a cent again. Oh yeah, why did you buy the wine? Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang with a puzzled expression. Based on Lin Yan's understanding of Wang Jingyang, he didn't smoke or drink. Why would there be wine at home? I bought it to wash my feet. Wang Jingyang sneered coldly. Doggy, is your skin itchy because I haven't hit you in 3 days? Lin Yan glared at Wang Jingyang and gritted her teeth. Wang Jingyang was speechless. Of course I bought the wine to drink. Am I really going to use it to wash my feet? Wang Jingyang sighed helplessly. Didn't you say that you don't drink? Lin Yan was puzzled. Have you forgotten that we used to drink beer together? Wang Jingyang quipped. You stopped after a few sips every time. Most of it was spat out secretly. Don't think that I don't know, quipped Lin Yan. Wang Jingyang chuckled and fell silent for a moment. Sometimes I can't fall asleep. I want to taste what it feels like to be drunk. Let me tell you. That demoness is very powerful. You have to be careful. Don't offend her. After 3 rounds of wine, Qi Feng, who seemed a little tipsy, spoke to everyone. Xing Qin chimed in. Brother, didn't you say that the demoness is dead? Then, what's there to be afraid of? How useless. Xing Qin had also drunk a lot and was slightly tipsy. He had already started to address Qi Feng as his brother. If Lin Yan hadn't stopped him, the 2 of them would have kowtowed and become sworn brothers. Then the demoness is missing. Her disappearance might not mean that she's really dead. This demoness is very mysterious, and the power she founded is also very mysterious. Perhaps she's plotting something. Of course, what are we talking about today? Don't spread what we said today. If the demoness faction finds out, they'll kill me? Qi Feng said. Hearing that, Xing Qin pointed at Qi Feng and laughed. You think too highly of yourself. Their evolvers are so powerful. How would they know who you are? They even came to take revenge on you. You have no self-awareness. Qi Feng looked at Xing Qin and said, Me? What's wrong with me? I'm awesome too. I'm awesome in a lot of ways. We brothers have been together for a long time. You'll know in the future. Lin Yan was speechless. Ling Yu, Sister Yan, let's go back. They seem to have drunk too much, Ling Yu told Lin Yan. Lin Yan nodded when she heard Ling Yu. After everyone left, Wang Jingyang stood in front of the door and watched Lin Yan's back. He suddenly said, Xiaoyan. Lin Yan turned around and met Wang Jingyang's eyes. Lin Yan seemed to have seen something in Wang Jingyang's eyes, but a certain emotion flashed past. It was as if it had never appeared before. End of this chapter. Chapter 1027. Doggy, what's wrong? Lin Yan stared at Wang Jingyang curiously. Wang Jingyang fell silent for a moment before replying, Nothing. Be careful when you go back, okay? Don't worry, I'm an evolved being. Doggy, tell me if anyone bullies you in the future. I will definitely teach them a lesson for you. Lin Yan chuckled softly at Wang Jingyang. After Lin Yan left, Wang Jingyang closed the door. He glanced at the bottle of red wine on the table and gulped it down. On the way back, Ling Yu seemed troubled. She seemed to have something to say to Lin Yan, but she didn't say it. If Ling Yu wanted to say it, she would naturally say it. If Ling Yu didn't, Lin Yan naturally wouldn't ask. After returning to Cloud Manor, Lin Yan returned to her room. Before long, someone knocked on the door. Lin Yan stood up and opened the door. Ling Yu was standing outside. "Sister Yan, I have something to tell you," Ling Yu said to Lin Yan. "Come in." Lin Yan glanced at Ling Yu before turning to enter the room. Ling Yu sat on the couch, not knowing what to say. Lin Yan scrutinized Ling Yu for a moment before she said, "Xiaoye, ever since Qi Feng described the old man's face, you've been acting strangely. If you have anything to say, you can tell me." "It's fine." Ling Yu gritted her teeth. "Sister Yan, I'm afraid we are in big trouble." "Big trouble?" Lin Yan's expression changed when she heard Ling Yu. Ling Yu had always been a steady person and never spoke carelessly. For her to say big trouble, just how big was this trouble? "Xiaoye, don't be anxious. Tell me slowly. What trouble is it?" Lin Yan frowned at Ling Yu. "Sister Yan, do you know who the old man Qi Feng mentioned today is?" Ling Yu looked anxious. "Who is it?" Lin Yan asked curiously. "A member of the evolved being Death." Ling Yu explained to Lin Yan. Lin Yan's expression changed when she heard that. Were they the subordinates of the she-devil? "Xiaoye, don't be too anxious. Could there be a mistake?" "It can't be such a coincidence," Lin Yan analyzed. "There's no mistake." Ling Yu shook her head. "Everything he said is consistent. Besides, if I wasn't a member of Death, I wouldn't have allowed Qi Feng to film me. After the demoness disappeared, we lost contact, so I left Death and stayed by Brother Yu's side. If they found out, they wouldn't let me off. However, I always thought that I hid it well. It's all that fatty's fault." Lin Yan fell silent when she heard Ling Yu. Indeed, just as Ling Yu had said, a very strict evolver organization would never allow their own evolvers to betray them. Although Ling Yu was not considered a betrayal in a sense, it was not much different from a betrayal. "It's not just me. Sister Yan, you look very similar to the demoness. This time they asked Qi Feng to include you. I'm afraid that you will be implicated. If that's the case, the consequences will be unimaginable." Lin Yan didn't reply. Instead, she fell silent. Lin Yan grinned. "Xiaoye, don't worry." Chapter 1028. Actually, Lin Yan didn't care much about evolved beings like Death. That demoness had disappeared a long time ago, and she didn't know if she was dead or alive. Even if she hadn't disappeared, she wouldn't be afraid of her if they really fought. In front of her was a black-robed man, and behind her was Si Bai, who had a pure brain and unimaginable power. Which one of them wasn't a boss-level evolved being? But so what? Both of them had been defeated by her hands. The demoness was powerful, but was she more powerful than the two of them? Even if they were more powerful than Si Bai and the mysterious black-robed man, they might not necessarily be as powerful as her. Besides, this was Cloud Manor. If they wanted to touch them, they would have to think twice. "Xiaoye, don't be afraid. Perhaps it's just a coincidence. It might not be what you think. Even if it is, I will stand up for you, okay?" Lin Yan could only comfort Ling Yu when she saw her flustered expression. Before Lin Yan could respond, she heard a commotion in the yard. Ling Yu's expression changed drastically when she heard the noise. "Oh no, they're here." Ling Yu glanced at Lin Yan in fear. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan felt that Ling Yu was a little frightened. "Ling Yu, what are you waiting for?" Before Lin Yan could speak, an old man's voice was heard. Even Lin Yan's expression changed when she heard that. Was this the fastest slap in history? "Sister Yan, let's run." Ling Yu grabbed Lin Yan's hand. Lin Yan shook her head without the slightest hint of panic on her face. She smiled at Ling Yu. "They are outside. Where can we go? There aren't many people in Cloud Manor these few days. We can only rely on ourselves." "Then Sister Yan, I'll go out. You stay and hide in the house. Don't show yourself." Ling Yu's eyes were filled with determination. "Do you think your Sister Yan is like Qi Feng? Do you think she's a disloyal person?" Lin Yan grinned. Ling Yu was speechless. "Don't be afraid. Let's go out and meet them." Lin Yan pulled Ling Yu out. There was a creak. Lin Yan pushed the door open. There were about 7 or 8 people in the courtyard. They were all young men, and there was only one old man. This old man's appearance was just as Qi Feng had described. It was quite recognizable. The moment Lin Yan appeared, the old man's eyes were drawn to her as he scrutinized her face. Similar, too similar, simply like the same person. In this world, there were actually 2 people who were so similar. It was truly inconceivable. The old man retracted his gaze from Lin Yan and turned to Ling Yu. "Ling Yu, you should know what will happen to you. Do you need me to repeat it to you?" The old man said expressionlessly as he looked at Ling Yu. Ling Yu's expression changed when she heard the old man's words. Do you want to leave with me or do you want me to bring you away from this place? I do not wish to waste any time and I hope that the two of you will not waste my time and even more so, do not waste your own time. At the very least, the two of you can properly cherish yourselves right now, the old man continued. Are you AF * King Chatterbox? Is Dern very impressive? Lin Yan asked the old man impatiently. However, the old man was taken aback by Lin Yan's words. He was in disbelief. Chapter 1029. It would have been fine if this woman hadn't known that they were Dern. However, since she knew, she acted as though she didn't care. There was even a hint of disdain and provocation in her tone. To be honest, he had never met such a person before. How could someone complain about living too long? Ling Yu remained silent as she racked her brains to come up with a solution. Ling Yu's eyes flickered as she came up with a bold plan. How dare you? Suddenly Ling Yu bellowed at the old man. My lord is here. How dare you behave atrociously? My lord? The old man stared at Ling Yu before turning to Lin Yan. The corners of his mouth curled up. Ling Yu, is she the lord you mentioned? Why? Don't you know my lord? Ling Yu hissed coldly. Although this woman resembles my lord, she can't be the same person, replied the old man. Why? Are you really my lord? The old man glanced at Lin Yan with interest. Of course not, replied Lin Yan nonchalantly. Lin Yan's reply surprised the old man. The old man originally thought that this woman would also insist that she was the lord, but she denied it, she actually denied it. Why? Am I really that similar to your lord? Many people have mistaken me for her, quipped Lin Yan curiously. Ling Yu was speechless. She had finally thought of a brilliant plan, but Sister Yin hadn't cooperated at all. I advise all of you not to cause trouble for Ling Yu in the future. She has nothing to do with death. If you continue to cause trouble for Ling Yu and me, you have to consider the consequences. Lin Yan grinned at them. Are you provoking death? The old man stared at Lin Yan expressionlessly. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up as she sneered coldly. Why? Wasn't I obvious enough? Who do you think you are? I don't even care about the Hunters Guild. Why would I be afraid of a bunch of useless soldiers like you? The old man was about to retort when Lin Yan added, even if your lord came personally, I wouldn't care. Ling Yu turned pale in fright. Indeed, Lin Yan was very powerful. However, compared to her lord, she was still inferior. The two of them weren't even on the same level. Ling Yu had assumed that Lin Yan's words would infuriate the old man. To Ling Yu's surprise, Lin Yan's words made the old man hesitant. The old man stared at Lin Yan in confusion. Just where did this woman come from? She was actually able to say that even if the Lord came personally, she wouldn't be afraid. Apart from that, he could sense a powerful telekinesis that didn't belong to her. It was as though he would anger a hidden existence the moment he made a move. Pei family mansion. In the study. Pei Yuqing removed his glasses and his body emitted a frightening, powerful force. It was as though this force could break through the clouds and reach the shore at any moment. Cloud Manor, the old man did not say anything nor did he attack. In fact, he did not even make any movements. He was just quietly thinking about something. Haha, our lord has been missing for a long time and has never appeared. Therefore, it is naturally impossible for him to come personally. You and our lord are really similar, so similar that even I can't tell if you are the same person. The old man grinned at Lin Yan. Chapter 1030. After the man left, He Muyun heaved a sigh of relief. He Muyun didn't know who the man and woman were, but their actions made it hard for her to breathe. He Muyun racked her brains, but she didn't have any impression of them. It was impossible for them to have interacted with each other. He Muyun couldn't understand why the man and woman had addressed Lin Yan as little sister. She was certain that they weren't from the Mu family. Given their age, if they were, she would have recognized them. At the very least, she would have some recollection of them. A few minutes later, the man and the woman in the Cheongsam appeared at a secluded spot. Brother 5, someone is here. The woman stood beside the man and whispered to him. As soon as the voice of the woman in Cheongsam fell, a short man silently appeared in front of the two of them. Brother 3. The woman in the Cheongsam greeted the man. The man in front of him was only about 1.3 meters tall and looked like a dwarf. He had a very unique hairstyle and was wearing a custom-made short suit. The dwarf scanned the man and the woman in the Cheongsam before he said, Brother 5, follow me back. The man in the leather suit grinned. Brother 3, are you ordering me? The dwarf was expressionless as he replied softly, "Of course, you can choose to reject me. I'm just passing on father's words." Father? Hearing the dwarf mention his father, the man in the leather jacket had a solemn expression on his face. The woman in the cheongsam looked nervous. Brother Five wouldn't dare to disobey his father. "Father asked you to come," the man in the leather suit said thoughtfully. "That's right. Since father asked me to go back, let's go." The man in the leather suit compromised. "Brother Five, little sister." The woman in the cheongsam frowned. Their appearance must have caused trouble for little sister. If they left just like that, Brother Three, did father ask 10th sister to come back with us? Asked the man in the leather suit. "Father didn't mention 10th sister," replied the dwarf. The man in the leather suit shot the woman in the cheongsam a look. The woman in the cheongsam understood and turned to leave. "Senior sister, why aren't you leaving?" He asked as the car slowed down. "We're out of gas. Let's go to the gas station first," replied Lin Yan. "Senior sister, please stop for a moment," he said. "What's wrong?" Lin Yan was confused. "My stomach hurts, I need to go to the bathroom," he said. Lin Yan was speechless. "Do you think there's a bathroom here?" Lin Yan snapped. Lin Yan had no choice but to stop the car helplessly when she saw the look on the white crane's face. Find a secluded place. After some time, Lin Yan began to feel drowsy in the car. By the time Lin Yan woke up, it was already pitch black. Lin Yan opened her eyes and peered out of the window in disbelief. She hadn't seen wrongly. It was indeed late at night. Lin Yan whipped out her phone to check the time. However, the phone was turned off and could not be turned on no matter what. Lin Yan retrieved the spare power bank from her bag and connected it to her phone. But after a few minutes, the phone was still turned off, and it didn't even charge up. Lin Yan fiddled with it for a while before realizing that there was no battery. End of chapter. Chapter 1031. Duo quipped, "I heard that they choose their spokesperson like an emperor choosing his concubine. They have to be good-looking, have a good family background, have good education, and be proficient in 8 languages." Lin Yan looked surprised as she listened. "They have to be good-looking, have good family background, have good education, and be proficient in 8 languages. Isn't this tailor-made for me? I'm so suitable." Duo was exasperated. She didn't even want to complain about her anymore. She had started again. Who had given her the courage? Not to mention other things, just in terms of education, with her high school education she would never be able to step into the door of KNO, okay? However, Duo didn't say anything for fear of hurting Lin Yan's pride. Lin Yan chuckled softly. "But I like their brand. It's not that fancy and it's comfortable." She remembered that this brand had approached her when she had been racing overseas. However, she had rejected them because she had been too busy with competitions. However, they had been nice to her. Although they hadn't worked together, they had still sponsored her a lot of clothes. She had liked their designs, so she had worn them frequently to promote their brand. However, her status was different now. Given her status as an artist, it wasn't likely that she would get the endorsement. Although she had a good image after the charity event, she still wasn't considered a high-end celebrity. It didn't match their family's image. Duo was reading the documents when she suddenly exclaimed in excitement, "Wow! KNO's president, Ji Mingzhi, is so handsome. He's a mixed race and he graduated from MIT. MIT? Lin Yan stroked her chin. Which year? Lin Yan leaned closer to read Duo's report. He's my senior from the previous batch. However, she didn't seem to have any recollection of Ji Mingzhi. She didn't think that she knew him. Back then, she had been busy studying and hadn't had much interaction with anyone. She hadn't even been able to recognize everyone from this year, let alone the previous one. Duo was puzzled. Sister Yan, what did you say? What senior? Lin Yan shook her head. Nothing. Continue. Duo continued gossiping as she flipped through the documents. According to the documents, Ji Mingzhi had a double major at MIT. Besides finance, he also majored in aerodynamics. Sister Ling, what does aerodynamics do? Zhao Hongling thought for a while and said, I don't know much about it. This major is indeed a little uncommon. Zhao Hongling had barely finished her sentence when Lin Yan's voice rang out. Aerodynamics is a branch of mechanics that studies the mechanical properties of aircraft or other objects when they are in motion with air or other gases. It also studies the flow of gases as well as the physical and chemical changes that occur. It is a discipline based on fluid mechanics and has grown along with the development of the aviation industry and jet propulsion technology. Its corresponding majors are mostly aerospace and automobile design. Without thinking, Lin Yan blurted out the question. Halfway through his sentence, he noticed that Toto and Zhao Hongling were looking at him in surprise. Sister Yin, how do you know so much? Duo looked surprised. Zhao Hongling was taken aback as well. Chapter 1032. Senior Sister? He scanned the area in confusion. Lin Yan and the car were nowhere to be seen. Senior Sister, where are you? He shouted at the surroundings, but there was no response. What's going on? He frowned. How long had it been? Both the car and the person were gone? He suspected that Lin Yan had driven off on her own. He took out the phone that Lin Yan had given him and dialed Lin Yan's number. He placed the phone next to his ear, but the busy tone didn't connect. He felt that something was amiss. Based on his understanding of Lin Yan wouldn't abandon him and drive off on her own. He had no idea what had happened. Perhaps Lin Yan had really driven off. Lin Yan tossed and turned in the car, unable to fall asleep. This had nothing to do with her comfort level, but the surroundings and what had happened made her unable to fall asleep. Lin Yan swore that she had never seen such a dark night before. There was no light in the car. It was so dark that Lin Yan began to doubt her own existence. Her surroundings were eerily quiet. Even when she opened the door, she couldn't hear a single sound. It was as though she was in a sealed space. In the car, Lin Yan inhaled deeply and felt a little sleepy as she sat in the driver's seat. After some time, Lin Yan opened her eyes slowly. However, the moment she opened her eyes, Lin Yan's entire body shuddered as a look of disbelief and shock appeared on her face. Through the window, Lin Yan realized that the sky was still dark. How could this be? Lin Yan hurriedly opened the door and got out of the car. Lin Yan didn't sleep soundly, but she could still sense the passage of time. She had slept for at least a few hours. Under normal circumstances, the sky should be bright by now. Lin Yan looked even more dazed and confused. Although it was still dark, it wasn't so dark that she couldn't see her fingers. Lin Yan could vaguely see the car behind her. Lin Yan could even hear a sound that sounded like the sound of flowing water. Lin Yan felt a sense of security when she could see. She scanned her surroundings carefully. The moment she did, Lin Yan froze on the spot. Her current location had nothing to do with the place where the car was parked in her memory. Lin Yan scanned the area ahead as though she was looking at an ocean. Instinctively, Lin Yan dashed forward. A few minutes later, Lin Yan stared at the ocean, dumbfounded. Where had this ocean come from? At a glance, there was no end and there were no buildings in the surroundings. Lin Yan stared at the ocean in a daze. She had no idea what had happened or where she was. She even suspected that she was no longer in the capital city. At the very least, as far as Lin Yan could remember, there was no such sea in the capital city. Lin Yan hurriedly opened the hood of the car to inspect it. There were indeed some malfunctions, but they weren't serious. To Lin Yan, such minor malfunctions were child's play. 15 minutes later, Lin Yan returned to the car and reignited it. This time the car started smoothly and the lights in the car lit up. Lin Yan's eyebrows furrowed in delight as she hurriedly used the car charger to charge her phone. The book Having You for the Rest of My Life, Sweet and Warm would be available for pre-sale on November 1st, Sunday. There were a lot of benefits this time. There were autographed, stamped, signed letters, autographed photos, magazines, postcards, bookmarks, signboards, mouse pads, keychains, round mirrors, pillows, cards, marriage certificates, badges, photo frames, desserts, hand warmers, duct tape. Each shop had prepared different side benefits. The details of each shop's benefits would be announced around the 31st. At that time, the babies could choose whichever one they liked. End of this chapter. Chapter 1033. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that her phone was charging. As long as her phone was turned on, she would be able to contact Bai He and ask him about what had happened yesterday. Lin Yan stared at her phone for a few minutes before she heard the notification that her phone had been turned on. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that her phone had been turned on. There were some missed calls. Bai He had called her 3 times and Pei Yuqing had called her a total of 27 times. She stared at her phone for a long time as an ominous feeling rose in her heart. Bai He's missed calls meant that Bai He had come back to look for her. Something must have happened that she wasn't aware of. Lin Yan guessed that something must have happened while she had been dozing off. She and her car had been teleported to an unfamiliar place. Bai He must have gone back to look for her, but he hadn't been able to find her. Bai He had tried to call her, but she hadn't been able to get through. Lin Yan didn't have time to mull over this. She dialed Pei Yuqing's number immediately. Pei Yuqing had a total of 27 missed calls. Lin Yan felt a little uneasy. She didn't know how to explain her situation to Pei Yuqing. She was afraid that no one would believe her. A few seconds later, Lin Yan's expression changed slightly. The call was busy. Lin Yan studied the screen carefully and felt a chill run down her spine. There was no signal at the top left corner. Her phone had no signal. It would be a miracle if she could get through. Lin Yan didn't give up. She dialed Pei Yuqing's number several more times, but the same thing happened. F***ck, Lin Yan frowned and couldn't help but curse. She had no idea where she was or what she should do next. Even though the car was working, she had no idea where to go. Lin Yan tried a few times but she couldn't get through. In the end she gave up. Lin Yan stared at the screen and finally got a sense of time. There was no problem with the time on her phone. It was 9:30 am. Lin Yan glanced out of the car. There was some light outside, so she could see her surroundings clearly without the help of the headlights. Even so, based on Lin Yan's understanding of the day, it shouldn't be this dark. There was no difference between day and night. Before long, Lin Yan drove slowly forward. There was no signal here, but that didn't mean that there was no signal anywhere else. As long as she could contact Pei Yuqing, she might have a chance to leave. After a few kilometers, Lin Yan vaguely heard a roar. This sound did not sound like it came from a wild beast, but more like the unwilling roar of a dying man. Lin Yan stopped the car hastily and turned off the headlights, afraid that she would attract unwanted attention. She got out of the car and tiptoed forward. A few minutes later, Lin Yan saw him through the dim light. A man whose face could not be seen clearly was lying on the ground. His chest was heaving up and down as if he was still breathing weakly. After some internal struggle, Lin Yan walked over to the man and squatted down to study him. This person was not old, probably in his 20s. He seemed to have been severely injured by someone. End of chapter. Chapter 1034. Lin Shuya had a wide network of contacts in the industry. Who would have thought that she would be able to get close to the president of KNO? She was the artist with the most supporters. As they spoke, the audition officially began. The audition venue was a huge catwalk stage. The artists were dressed in KNO's costumes, while KNO's audition officers and staff were below the stage. Accompanied by a burst of noise at the backstage entrance, a tall and handsome man walked over surrounded by a crowd. The man was wearing a black suit with a gorgeous constellation embroidered on the back. The silver cufflinks were unique as though they were part of a car's gears. He had broad shoulders and a pair of long, slender legs. His shimmering, almond-shaped eyes seemed to be electrifying. "Boss G, everything is ready. We can start at any time," one of the staff members said cautiously. Ji Mingzhi raised his hand lazily. "Let's start. Hurry up. I have something to do later." Okay, right away." Soon, the artists who had changed backstage started to get on the stage. The competition this time was intense. Most of the female artists were A-listers or even A-listers. Even without Lin Shuya, Lin Yan wouldn't be able to meet their standards given her current status and status. The female artists went on stage one by one, and each of them lasted no more than 3 minutes. In the end, there were 3 to 5 people who went on stage at the same time. Ji Mingzhi looked as though he hadn't woken up yet. Even though he was an emperor who was used to seeing beauties, his eyes swept across the artists one by one. His assistant served him a cup of coffee. "Boss G, your coffee." His assistant glanced at the stage as he reminded him, "Boss G, calm down. It will be Miss Lin Shuya's turn soon." Ji Mingzhi took the coffee and took a sip before he nodded expressionlessly. Someone had recommended Lin Shuya to him, so he had read her information. Indeed, she was suitable. Ji Mingzhi studied the information in his hand as he studied Lin Shuya. The audition was not bad, his assistant quipped. "Boss G, Miss Lin Shuya's aura is really good. She suits our style very well." Ji Mingzhi remained silent as he nodded. "She's not bad." Although she couldn't be considered outstanding, there weren't many people in the Chinese entertainment circle who could meet her requirements. Lin Shuya was already considered passable. The assistant looked at Ji Mingzhi's expression and knew that Lin Shuya was definitely the candidate for the spokesperson. The other interviewers also seemed to be quite satisfied with the results. "This is not bad. It suits our target audience." It said that he was the student of Elder Feng, the one who entered the Film and Television Academy as the top student. The assistant secretly took out his phone and sent a message to Han Yishuan to tell him the good news. It was like doing him a favor. Since Ji Mingzhi had already decided to cast Lin Shuya, the other actresses could only go through the motions. Therefore the assistant gave the staff behind him a look and asked them to speed up. Soon the remaining 7 or 8 artists walked onto the stage together. Lin Yan was arranged to be the last to audition, so she was among the last batch of candidates. Ji Mingzhi casually glanced at them and was ready to leave. However, just as he was about to get up, he glanced at a certain corner of the room. His eyes felt as if they had been scalded. Then it was as if all the blood in his body was boiling. Chapter 1035. Ji Mingzhi's hand, which was holding the coffee, suddenly trembled, and the remaining coffee instantly splashed onto his suit pants. Was a mess. President Ji, are you all right? His assistant, who was startled, rushed to get a tissue to wipe it off. However, Ji Mingzhi pushed him away and gazed at a certain spot on the stage in disbelief. President Ji, shut up. Ji Mingzhi's gaze seemed to have taken root. Ji Mingzhi snapped back to his senses when all the actresses had left the stage. Resume. Give me the resume. Huh? His assistant looked confused. He thought that he wanted Lin Shuya's resume, so he hurriedly found Lin Shuya's resume and handed it to him. Ji Mingzhi glanced at it and tossed it aside. It's not her. Find the resumes of the 8 contestants and give them to me. His assistant, who had no idea what was going on, hurriedly followed Ji Mingzhi's instructions and found the resumes of the last batch of contestants for him. Ji Mingzhi scanned the resumes one by one, looking increasingly anxious. Finally, he saw a familiar face on the last resume. Lin Yan? Ji Mingzhi's eyes sparkled as he stared at the name. So, her Chinese name is Lin Yan, President Ji? His assistant, who had never seen his boss lose his composure like this, couldn't help but feel worried. Is there a problem? Ji Mingzhi clutched the resume as though it was a precious treasure. Ji Mingzhi turned around and told his assistant and the other interviewers, I have decided on the new spokesperson for KNO. Who is it, President Ji? Is it Lin Shuya? Most of them were certain that Ji Mingzhi had chosen Lin Shuya. Ji Mingzhi shut his eyes as though he was trying to recall something. Then he raised his head and said, Lin Yan. This year's spokesperson is Lin Yan. When Ji Mingzhi mentioned Lin Yan's name, all the other interviewers were flabbergasted. Even the assistant was taken aback. What? Lin Yan? The assistant was completely shocked by Ji Mingzhi's shocking decision. He said anxiously, Boss, I'm afraid this artist isn't suitable. Her image doesn't match our position. Another interviewer said, I have an impression of this artist. Her education level is too low. She only has a high school education. How can she be our spokesperson? This is a joke. Yeah. With such an image as our spokesperson, what would our customers think? Our customers are all high-level intellectuals and even top researchers in the field. Ji Mingzhi's decision was met with almost everyone's opposition. However, some of the more astute interviewers noticed Ji Mingzhi's strange attitude. Hence, they probed, Ahem, President Ji, didn't you intend to make Miss Lin our spokesperson? Why did he suddenly change his mind? Miss Lin is your... Unless Lin Yan had some sort of relationship with Ji Mingzhi, why would Ji Mingzhi want to replace her? The interviewer's reminder stirred the others' curiosity. They were all curious about Lin Yan's relationship with Ji Mingzhi. Ji Mingzhi smiled. Then, he lowered his eyes and kissed the resume in his hands sincerely. He said softly, She was my first love. Chapter 1036. Lin Yan jumped in fright when she heard that an evolved being had chased after her. Although there were still many things she wanted to figure out, the most important thing now was to escape this place. She didn't want to be implicated. Lin Yan instinctively glanced at the dashboard. Although there wasn't much fuel left in the tank, it was still enough. Sit tight. Lin Yan sat in the driver's seat and spoke without turning her head. A second later, Lin Yan started the car. Although she might not be a match for those evolved beings, she didn't believe that they would be able to catch up to her. Boom. She stepped on the accelerator and released the handbrake. The car roared. However, before Lin Yan could drive away, a white shadow flashed and blocked her way. That's fast. Lin Yan's heart tightened. This person was too fast, so fast that she couldn't even react. Lin Yan instinctively turned to look at the car. She was startled and frowned. She rubbed her eyes, thinking that her eyes were playing tricks on her. Lin Yan focused her eyes and realized that she hadn't seen wrongly. The person standing in front of the car was tall and tall. He was about 3 meters tall and had white fur. To be precise, the thing that was blocking the front of the car didn't look like a human. However, it had hands and feet and stood like a human. Lin Yan's heart pounded. Was she dreaming? Was she going to see a legendary monster in her lifetime? Lin Yin switched to reverse and stepped on the accelerator. She wanted the car to go in the opposite direction. To Lin Yan's surprise, the car seemed to have been caught by the monster. The four wheels spun frantically, but the car didn't move at all. Without any hesitation, Lin Yan opened the car door and rolled out of the car. If the monster suddenly attacked, it would probably smash her car flat with a punch. Wouldn't she be like meat in a burger? When she reached the ground, Lin Yan immediately retreated to the back of the car. She didn't want to attract the monster's attention. However, Lin Yan realized that a pair of round eyes was scrutinizing her. Lin Yan muttered, F***CK. At that moment, Lin Yan finally got a clear look at the monster. It was a snow-white gorilla, even bigger than the silverback gorilla she had seen in the zoo. Lin Yan could even sense an oppressive aura from the white gorilla, which made it hard for her to breathe. At this moment, the backseat door was opened and the man hurriedly got out. Damn. After seeing the white gorilla, the man's expression suddenly changed. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. He wanted to cry but had no tears. Big brother, you're my big brother. I beg you believe me. I really didn't kidnap your wife. I swear. As the man's voice fell, the white gorilla's eyes suddenly became somewhat fierce. Lin Yan studied the man intently. The man, who sensed Lin Yan's strange gaze, turned around and said hastily, I'm innocent. His wife has nothing to do with me. Lin Yan was speechless. Oh? This is your personal matter. You don't have to tell me. Everyone has their own preferences. I understand. Lin Yan grinned. Before the man could speak, the white gorilla pounded its chest and roared angrily. Under Lin Yan's astonished gaze, the white gorilla began to sign. End of this chapter. Chapter 1037. Zhao Hongling chuckled. To be honest, I'm not sure either. They didn't say anything. They only said that they had chosen Lin Yan and sent me the contract. They also said, Lin Yan asked, what did they say? Zhao Hongling replied, they said that the fee was increased by 30%. They also said that if we think it's too low, we can raise it further. Lin Yan stroked her chin in confusion. That's weird. Do I really have a backer? But I don't know anyone from KNO. Take a look at the contract. I think that the fee is already very high. It wouldn't be good for you if you asked for a higher price. Zhao Hongling added, if you think it's fine, sign the contract and attend KNO's fashion gala. They will announce it then. Lin Yan was taken aback. Why do I feel as though a pie has fallen from the sky? Is this a scam? She had never seen anyone give away money like this. It was as though they were afraid that she would reject them. Zhao Hongling grinned. Don't worry. I have already read the contract. There's nothing wrong with it. Besides, KNO is such a big company. They have no reason to cheat us. However, this is indeed a little strange. I can only guess that you performed well and the interviewer took a liking to you. This is not unheard of. Indeed, she was confident in Lin Yan. If it hadn't been for her lack of education, she would have fought for this contract. Compared to Lin Shiya's delicate style, Lin Yan was more suitable for KNO's brand. Lin Yan pondered for a long time, but this was the only possibility she could come up with. In the end, she didn't dwell on it. Since Zhao Hongling had passed the interview, there was no reason for her to reject the money. Hence, she signed the contract. Meanwhile, in the president's office on the top floor of KNO's branch, Ji Mingzhi's ashtray was full of cigarette butts, and the office was filled with smoke. The man seemed to be very anxious and his face was full of worry. Someone knocked on the door and he turned to his assistant. How did it go? Did you agree? The assistant replied hastily, yes. The contract has been signed. Don't worry, boss. Ji Mingzhi heaved a sigh of relief as if he had accomplished something very important. He pinched the space between his eyebrows and said, that's good. By the way, I'm going to personally plan the fashion banquet of KNO. The assistant looked even more surprised. Yes, what kind of person was their boss? He was the CEO of the KNO business empire and the heir of the Ji family, a well-known Chinese aristocratic family in M Nation. Unlike those playboys who relied on their families to learn nothing, the boss himself was very outstanding. He had a double degree from MIT, and he was one of the best in both family affairs and academic ability. Wasn't Lin Yan just a small-time artist in the country? Apparently, he didn't even graduate from ignorant and incompetent high school and only managed to clear his name by doing charity work. How could such an unpresentable woman become the boss's first love? Moreover, the boss couldn't forget her for so many years and even went against everyone's opinion to make her the spokesperson of KNO. Ever since the boss took over the company, he had never done anything so lustful. Who would have thought that he would make an exception for such a small artist? Shortly after Lin Yan received the news, Lin Shuya received a notification from KNO. Unfortunately, Lin Shuya wasn't selected. Chapter 1038. When she heard the news from her agent, Lin Shuya's smug expression froze. What did you say? Yishanshan panicked as well. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Just now, my cousin-in-law called to tell me that Sister Shuya has already been chosen. How could she have failed? Her agent's expression darkened. I found it strange too. I confirmed with them that they didn't choose Shuya. They chose someone else. Someone else? Who is it? How dare they snatch Shuya's endorsement? Yishanshan said angrily. Her agent shook her head. I didn't manage to find out anything. They said that it has to be kept a secret before the official announcement. We can only find out during the KNO fashion gala. Lin Shuya calmed down after a brief moment of anger. Many of the actresses at the audition are pretty good. Her agent nodded. Yeah. Qiaoan from Conglomerate Stars and Zhao Yishuan from Xinhua Film and Television are all possible candidates. She comforted Lin Shuya. It's okay. Don't be discouraged. It's not easy to get the endorsement. We didn't have a 100% chance of getting it. We can look for other resources later. Lin Shuya's face turned pale. But KNO is the best endorsement we can find. It suits my current image. Where can we find another one? Her agent knew that Lin Shuya was right. She looked embarrassed. However, KNO's candidates had already been chosen. There was nothing she could do about it. Shuya, why don't you ask young Master Han for help? Doesn't he know Boss Ji? Her agent suggested. Lin Shuya pinched her eyebrows. Brother Yishuan has been very busy recently. I don't want to bother him with these things. Forget it. Since it has already been snatched, I don't think there will be any changes. After the previous incident, Han Yishuan had become much colder towards her. She had put in a lot of effort to win Han Yishuan's heart back. She knew that she couldn't continue to use these things to get Han Yishuan's help. Otherwise he would think that she was using him. However, she wanted to see who had the guts to snatch her endorsement deal. Regardless of who it was, she could use the public's opinion to say that someone had snatched her endorsement. Soon, it was the day of the KNO Fashion Gala. Many celebrities in the business and entertainment circles were invited. The night before, Lin Yan had received a custom-made gown, shoes, and a full set of jewelry from KNO's president. If Lin Yan hadn't told him that she had her own makeup artist, he would have arranged for a team of stylists. Besides Duo, Zhao Hongling had also accompanied Lin Yan to the event because it was an important event. Lin Yan had just sent her enthusiastic assistant away when she clicked her tongue. What the? Is KNO so arrogant? Duoduo's eyes sparkled as she studied Lin Yan's outfit. Sister Yen, your outfit and accessories cost at least 10 million yuan. This time the sugar daddy is really too generous. She had to tread carefully when she walked, for fear that she might break anything. In fact, Zhao Hongling had always been a little suspicious. After seeing the other party's attitude today, she became even more suspicious. The treatment of a KNO spokesperson is naturally not bad, but I've never heard of them being this considerate. Chapter 1039. Not only had they provided clothes, but they had also prepared a full set of jewelry and accessories. Furthermore, they were all so expensive. They had even brought an entire stylist with them. She took another look at the fashion gala, which was unprecedentedly luxurious and dreamy. Duo scanned the venue. Besides, this place is so beautiful and dreamy. I think the KNO CEO's wedding venue is similar to this. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she heard Duo. What the hell was a wedding venue? She shouldn't spout nonsense. KNO has been expanding into the Chinese market in recent years, so it's only natural that they pay more attention to it. What are you thinking? Lin Yan glared at Duo. Duo pursed her lips. But it really looks like it. Look at the sea of roses. It's too exaggerated. Lin Yan was speechless. Fine, it was indeed a little exaggerated. Oh yeah, I heard that KNO CEO Ji Mingzhi was the one who planned this fashion gala. Duo gossiped. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched as she said with difficulty, their CEO's taste is he really a graduate from MIT? His taste couldn't be that dreamy. It really did look like a wedding venue. Duo couldn't be blamed for thinking that way. At this moment, the guests had arrived one after another. Lin Shuya and some of the more famous celebrities in the industry had also received invitations. He Shanshan had also gotten an invitation. Lin Shuya had come with Han Yishuan. Recently, Han Yishuan had been very busy with work. Initially, he didn't have the time. However, he had promised Lin Shuya that he would help her get the endorsement deal. In the end, he didn't manage to fulfill his promise. Therefore, he decided to accompany Lin Shuya. I wonder which celebrity snatched Sister Shuya's endorsement. He Shanshan grumbled beside Han Yishuan. Lin Shuya immediately said gently, Shanshan, don't say that. It was a fair competition. After all, K&O is a top-tier luxury brand. The competition is fierce. There are so many capable seniors, so it's normal that I didn't get selected. I'll try harder next time. Han Yishuan had been a little unhappy that he hadn't managed to get the job done. However, when he heard Lin Shuya's words and saw how considerate and sensible she was, his expression softened. Han Yishuan replied, Shuya, you're so hard-working and motivated. You just lack some experience. I mentioned you to Boss G last time. He thinks very highly of you. It's just that he doesn't have the final say in the company's endorsement. He probably delegated such a small matter to his subordinates. In other words, Ji Mingzhi's position was too high. Hence, he wouldn't care about such a small matter. That was why Lin Shuya had been rejected. Lin Shuya pondered for a moment and decided that it was possible. It was said that the person in charge this time was the director of the advertising department, Myriad Ray. Ji Mingzhi would only be there as a formality. He wouldn't interfere too much with the decisions of the advertising department. There was definitely no problem with her conditions. She was just afraid that someone had used their connections in Mailui. As they toasted each other, almost all the guests had arrived. Soon, K&O's president, Ji Mingzhi, arrived under the watchful eyes of the senior executives and celebrities. Tonight, Ji Mingzhi, who had always dressed fashionably, wore a retro black suit. It was a classic and formal style, which made him look even more noble and intimidating. He was not inferior to any of the male artists present at the scene. Chapter 1040. Lin Yan had thought that it was strange that Wu Yu thought that she was related to the evolved beings in the city of Sin. It turned out that it was because of the car she was driving. It's okay. I'm a good person, replied Lin Yan. Miss Lin Yan, don't lie to me. That's impossible. Wu Yu pinched his chin and stared at Lin Yan. I've been here for a long time. Usually, only evolved beings who are related to the big shots in the city of Sin can enjoy some special treatment and bring some personal belongings in. However, to be honest, this is the first time I've seen someone drive a car in. I think your treatment is even more exaggerated than the evolved beings in the city of Sin. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. I even have to ask you what the city of Sin is. How could I be related to the people in the city of Sin? Lin Yan replied helplessly. Hearing that, Wu Yu had a suspicious look on his face. Then, the Hunters Guild allowed you to bring the car in? Lin Yan sighed. Let's put it this way. I was fine outside, so I took a nap in the car. When I woke up, I was already here. Wu Yu was startled when he heard Lin Yan. Lin Yan noticed something amiss with Wu Yu's expression in the rearview mirror. Is there a problem? Were you tricked by the Hunters Guild? Wu Yu asked in surprise. Lin Yan looked furious. You're right this time. I was tricked by the Hunters Guild. Boss? Wu Yu was agitated when he heard Lin Yan. If he hadn't been sitting in the back seat, he would have hugged Lin Yan's thigh. Lin Yan was confused when she saw Wu Yu's expression. She didn't understand why this man was crazy. Boss, I really failed to recognize your greatness. Please don't blame me if I offended you just now. Boss, do you need a dog by your side? Take me in. I'll be your dog. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Was this person crazy? He wanted to be her dog for no reason. Are you all right? Are you sick? I don't have any medicine for you, replied Lin Yan. Boss, please accept me. You're not familiar with this place. You'll definitely lack a lackey like me. I'm the little smart here, I know a lot. Wu Yu said excitedly. Can you be more normal? Lin Yan's expression turned odd. Boss Lin Yan, stop pretending. I already know everything. Wu Yu pressed on. Lin Yan was speechless. What did he know? Big Boss Lin Yan, if you were just an ordinary evolved being, would the Hunters Guild need to use such despicable means to lure you in? Wu Yu analyzed seriously. What are you trying to say? Asked Lin Yan. You must be a super evolved person. You're so powerful that even the Hunters Guild doesn't dare to attack you openly. They can only wait for you to take a nap and use despicable methods to trick you. Am I right? Lin Yan was speechless. Why was he so dramatic? However, there was one thing that Lin Yan agreed with. She was indeed powerful. She had kicked Bai and punched a high-level evolved being. That was the truth. Perhaps Wuyu was right. The Hunters Guild really didn't dare to attack her openly, so they plotted against her. That was very likely. Had she become so powerful unknowingly? Chapter 1041. She was really courting death. Yishen was right. Ji Mingzhi was the president, so he couldn't possibly know everything. He probably didn't know what kind of person Lin Yan was. However, once this news was announced, given Lin Yan's qualifications, there would be a huge uproar. If that happened, even the director of the advertising department wouldn't be able to hide it. After confirming this news, Lin Shuya shot a glance at her manager. Her manager, who understood what her assistant meant, nodded at Lin Shuya and left the venue to make a call. This time, KNO's spokesperson had garnered a lot of attention. Many people had been trying to find out who it was. Even though the candidate was supposed to be a secret, the news had still leaked out in advance. Initially, everyone had guessed that it would be a few A-list celebrities in the industry. Many people had also guessed that it would be Lin Shuya. Later on, someone who claimed to be an insider had leaked the news that Lin Yan would be the spokesperson this time. Initially, this news had been drowned out by all the gossip, so it hadn't caught anyone's attention. No one had taken it seriously either. However, shortly after the fashion gala had started, the news started to spread. By the time the gala was halfway through, the news had reached a fever pitch. Hence, when Lin Yan appeared in the limited edition gown of KNO, everyone's gazes fell on Lin Yan. F***CK. Look at Lin Yan's gown. Isn't that KNO's latest gown that hasn't been released yet? I heard that KNO's president personally designed it. It's not for sale. It's only for exhibition. But Lin Yan is wearing it now. It seems like the news is true. Lin Yan will be the spokesperson this time. Oh my god, no way. Has KNO gone mad? Although Lin Yan has a good reputation, given her background and education, she isn't suited for such a luxurious role. Besides, KNO's clients are mostly educated people. Ever since Lin Yan joined Summit Entertainment, her resources have been getting better and better. I don't believe that there's nothing fishy going on. The moment Lin Yan walked out in the KNO gown, the news that she had been chosen as the brand spokesperson was confirmed. For a moment, everyone in the banquet hall began to whisper to each other. Although Lin Yan was passionate about charity work and had done a lot of good deeds, her reputation in the industry wasn't that great. She had been involved in scandals, and she didn't have a good education background. Hence, most people doubted her. Most of the people who wore KNO were big shots and elites in the high-end scientific research circle. Asking her, a female celebrity with a high school education, to be the spokesperson was like slapping those customers in the face. No's maneuvers were too mysterious. The discussions on the internet were also getting more and more intense. Some of the angrier netizens dissed. This is too funny. I admit that I do charity work, but you can't use it to snatch resources. Otherwise, wouldn't everyone just need to pretend to donate some money to get a big-name endorsement? What's the difference between that and spending money on endorsements? That's right. One thing was another. This is so unfair. I heard that Lin Shuya had already been selected as the spokesperson. However, Lin Yan snatched her away. F***CK it can't be? Based on the feud between Lin Yan and Lin Shuya, it's possible. Although Lin Shuya snatched Lin Yan's angel's shelter, it's also true that Lin Yan tried to seduce Lin Shuya's fiancée. Don't forget that. End of this chapter. Chapter 1042. Lin Yan glanced at Wuyu. What did you steal in the city of Sin? Wuyu grinned and replied, I stole food and drinks. Lin Yan was speechless. How could he be a thief? However, when I was stealing in the city of Sin, I discovered a shocking secret. Wuyu's eyes glinted strangely. Can you get straight to the point? I just want to get out. Why don't you just tell me how to get out? Lin Yan had no interest in Wuyu's so-called secret. She could swear. Did you know that the president of the martial arts union actually colluded with a devil in the laboratory? They met in a basement in the city of Sin every time. I happened to see them that day. Wuyu acted as though he hadn't heard Lin Yan at all. However, Lin Yan's expression changed slightly when Wuyu mentioned the laboratory. Lin Yan was a little sensitive at the mention of the laboratory. She still remembered the owner of the laboratory who looked very similar to her. Did you see them clearly? Lin Yan asked softly. I didn't dare to take a closer look, but I have a vague impression of them. Did you know that the president of the Hunters Guild is very young? He looks even younger than you. As for the she-devil in the laboratory, she's quite beautiful. She has such a good temperament, just like a fairy. She looks like— Wu Yu's eyes suddenly narrowed as he stared at Lin Yan. His face turned pale instantly. Plop. Wu Yu fell to the ground and stared at Lin Yan in horror. She looks exactly the same. Wu Yu scrambled backward with his hands and feet. I'm the she-devil in the laboratory. Wu Yu sucked in a breath of cold air. I don't know your secret. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. Please treat me like a fart. Please let me go. Lin Yan stared at Wu Yu with a deep frown. The she-devil in the laboratory that Wu Yu had mentioned was the one she knew. Wu Yu hadn't expected that Lin Yan and the she-devil would look exactly the same. Their temperaments were too different, and even their voices and tones were worlds apart. Hence, when Wu Yu first saw Lin Yan, he didn't associate her with the she-devil he had met some time ago. I'm not that she-devil. Lin Yan explained to Wu Yu, if I were a demoness I would still be chatting with you. Wu Yu was startled. That seemed to be the case. If Lin Yan was really that demoness she could have just killed him. Why would she lie to him? When Wu Yu snapped back to his senses, he stared at Lin Yan in astonishment. Oh my god. You guys look so alike. I almost got a fright. After talking to Wu Yu, Lin Yan learned that this place was a huge, man-made underground city. When she looked up at the sky, it was pitch black, which was actually a special visual effect. The ocean was also man-made. No wonder there was no signal here. It was all blocked. That's right, I remember now. The she-devil told the president of the Hunters Guild. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Lin Yan was speechless. So how do we get out? Lin Yan went straight to the point. The president of the Hunters Guild was colluding with the demoness. It had nothing to do with her. She just wanted to leave. End of chapter. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.